for the matches, because, you know, have they been scrimming the last few days? Have they not scrimmed the last couple of days? I don't know, but the feeling is that Optic haven't got the practice they necessarily wanted this week, which isn't really ideal. Then again, it's a tough one, right, if you're a team, because if your player is unwell, then sure, maybe you don't want to practice because that player's unwell, they need to rest and everything, but then again, you're missing out a couple of days of practice, and could they still, like, power through and play not at 100%, but maybe, you know, to some degree, maybe, but at the same time, it's like, if you're not going to practice at 100%, if everyone's not fully locked in, maybe it's not even worth it, or you just go for, like, one scrim set rather than two, I don't know, but the feeling is that Optic might not have had the best practice over the last few days compared to what they were looking for, and of course, after their matchup tomorrow up against the Subliners, they then will...
Bittersweet doing what they're supposed to. They shouldn't let the team come from pool play to beat them, but it looks like Laura's gonna get a counter cap. I won't say counter cap, but they get a cap. They had eyes on him. What the heck? No, you know you need to get kills. Oh, couldn't get the kill. Couldn't secure it. Damn, headshots. We'll stuck him. We'll try to stuck him with the second one. Y'all kind of playing passive right now. Our game needs to push forward. Looks like slang is pretty equal across the board. What is that? 30, 54, 64 on Bittersweet side. We got 30, 44, 54, 60. Yeah, it's about the same. 61. There's a total of 4 matches going on right now, but we're watching the Bittersweet and Lore Gaming. I got Cloud9 and Sentinel-1. Native Gaming versus Business. Native Gaming leads that series. And the Sentinel-1 versus Cloud9 series. Cloud9 is leading. Sentinel is not doing well right now. And then you got the 4th game being Ascended Baseline versus Darkest Hour. Darkest Hour is up 2-0 in the game mode, but they're doing capture flag and 3-1 Darkest Hour. All I need to do, all Bittersweet need to do is just hold on. Oh, they did get that flag out. Oh. It's coming down. Will it be a tie game? Oh. Oh. Needs to get a touch. Nope, not gonna get it. Good job. Bittersweet taking first map. Are they going to 5 caps now? Yesterday we weren't going to 4 caps, so. But it looks like Dark Attire is about to take the lead in their match. I guess one of these have to be main stage. I don't know if any of these are main stage, but there's no casting on any of them. Is there casting on this one? Nope, no casting on that one. Just that one's in between maps. Oh, is I looking at that wrong? Lord Gaming won that map? Did I look at that whole map wrong? Am I tripping? Bittersweet is red. And it just went up 2-1. I don't know what that's saying, but I'm confused. I don't know the player's name, so they might have been on the wrong UI. One minute remaining. Ooh. So the ones Cloud9 start back up in the Slayer. That's definitely Sentinels. I don't know Cloud9's players. Oh, I don't know Tusk. Septified 2. I don't know Rami or Diagram. It's gonna be blue cap flag cap.
At least he actually playing and not watching some bullshit.
Playing what?
Video games.
I ain't playing then.
Oh my god, shit. Oh, bro. Play some goddamn game.
Got a long day of Halo, fam. Got a little COD in there too. Got a little Valorant in there as well. Alright,
Who over there? Hi, Twitch.
Nobody in Twitch except for the bots.
Oh. Those ones that tell you a bigger penis. Those bots? Tell you now, I don't miss it. Right?
Wrong one. Also wrong one. Jesus, where am I at? Here. Ooh, camo. Sentinels is not doing too hot right now.
Where the hell's he at?
I mean, I don't know if he works Saturdays or not. Huh?
Sleep as soon as the street lights came on.
Yeah. Ooh, he trying to get rid of the sniper? Okay.
Oh, this man went to Chick-fil-A today. All right.
Yeah. Gotta give him a spicy biscuit for the morning.
And
This-
spicy biscuit for the morning.
This is Slayer? Oh yeah. Jesus, Sentinels is up 10? Your boy Fractal putting the team on his back though. Oh, you're dead. Did he blink back? He must have blinked back. Oh, they got face cams? That means they're casting this one now, right? They're on the main stage. No caster still sounds like. But they're on the main stage at least. Brought back the 10 kill deficit. No way he got that. But they just be mainly in the melee sometimes. They hear like somebody land next to them. They tried to close that 10 kill gap lead, but Sentinel just put it right back. But they got camo though. Better make moves with that camo. Waste time. Look, how you got camo and your team's still getting clapped? That was a waste of a camo, fam.
I don't know what he's talking about. Talking about camo. Clap while he in stealth mode.
Yeah, you got basically they got a stealth mode. This person goes invisible, so that way you could kind of like sneak around the map, do what you need to do, get your team information on where the enemies are at. But he didn't do any of that. 11 kill lead is crazy. Okay, they did have the names wrong on the first map. That's why. So if it was Lord Gaming that time. Yeah, bittersweet. You can't let that happen. Bro, how many nades are they gonna throw?
5 minutes remaining.
5 minutes remaining. You're down 9. What do you do? I don't feel like he should be out there. He's like,
Just stay at spawn. That's what you do.
he needs help. Should realize he's gonna come behind.
Need milk.
Still 10 kill lead. FaZe Clan versus Darkest Hour, because FaZe Clan closed that out with 3-0, right? Yeah. Business tied it up 1-1 against Native. Unfortunate. They're trying to call their way back. Two more kills.
What did you talk about?
So 2 more kills until they end the map, or 1 more kill until they end the map. Bruh.
I'm like 3 years behind, so
That Slayer's about to end, so let's pull this up for the first time. Got the Halo music.
What do you say?
Hold on one moment.
Enemy team score. Enemy team scoring. Enemy halfway to victory. Enemy team scoring. Enemy team scoring.
Alright.
Enemy team scoring.
Oh, bro, he missed that first night. Look at it, man. Who's doing this? Native? As they should. Native should really. This doesn't seem to slouch either.
Enemy team scoring.
Bro. Business kind of, I'm a native gaming kind of crushed this map.
Enemy team nearing victory. team
Gonna get a
score.
trip cap going on red side. Interesting. Ooh, he won that. Good grenade kills. RPGs alone.
Ain't nobody on him.
What?
Ain't nobody on him.
Nobody on. What you talking about?
Nobody on him.
Enemy team score.
Oh. And 3 more points. That's game. Native up 2-1.
How they do that?
Hmm?
How they do that? How they do that?
How they do what?
How they do that? How they do that? How they come back like that?
They didn't, what do you mean come? They didn't really come back. They weren't really losing. And I got this whole emotional music. I guess since none of these maps are going, we'll see what's going on with Valorant real quick. Oh, and then it looks like they're in between maps too. In between teams, actually.
We'll be right back. See you next year.
Hmm. Well, they got that man looking like Faker.
Cause this is what he's been dreaming of.
What's that?
Big money. What do I mean?
Genji versus EDG. Look at this. What the freak out of my mentions? Whew.
Forged weapons.
Here we go. Match back up over here. Bittersweet versus Lore. Lore is up 2-0. Can Bittersweet come back?
What you doing, cat?
Damn, gotta win those. Damn. Trading going all over across the place. Think he burned the camera, probably? Yeah, it seems like he burned the camera.
You out here burning cameras.
Camo.
You out here burning camo.
Enemy team score.
The players.
The players.
Damn, 4 dead. Oh, 3 dead. 3 dead on each. Nope.
Playing with, boy. What is that?
Ooh, that's a snipe for you. Four dead? Damn. Ooh, off the spawn. Damn, Laura not playing today. That came from pools that we had all the time.
Enemy halfway to victory.
They got what?
They got triple cap. They said they got all the time. Oh my gosh. Oh no, he repulsed him off the map.
Enemy team scored.
What's the process?
Enemy team scored.
Another double cap. We got the camo. It's not looking pretty for bittersweet. They're about to be 0-3 in pool play.
0 for 3.
Enemy team scored. Enemy team scored.
Oh.
Team nearing victory.
Enemy team nearing victory. Damn, Native ain't playing. Look away for 1 second. Native over here about to finish off an oddball match. They need 1 more point. Alright, going to round 2 of oddball for them. Ooh.
One of those just takes it all the way to 50.
Ooh. Ooh. He got the kill assist on that one. Oh well. Damn, they got their own trip cap in. That's crazy. Are Laura about to throw the game? Alright, trading two for 2. Ooh, 3 for 3. Somebody gotta win that one. Came back off spawn. Trade still. Oh, they got camo now? Oof. Bittersweet. In the last minutes, they pulling it back.
It's not
kills. Oh, it's 2 dead, that's right.
Enemy team score.
You just need to stay alive, play your life.
Still Howard. Is this what?
That's it, 3-0. They tried. Raypan, oddball.
Enemy has the ball. Ball dropped. Enemy has the ball.
Upgrade sigils. So, that's fine
Halfway to victory. Ball incoming.
Ball income. Got the camo.
Enemy has the ball. Ball dropped. Ball dropped. Enemy has the ball. Ball dropped. Enemy has the ball. Ball dropped.
Alright, that nade to me should feel like should have blown up sooner.
Enemy has the ball. Ball dropped. Ball incoming.
Damn, gotta win you ones.
Enemy has the ball. 1 minute remaining.
Playing with fire. Peak shock rifle. Ooh. But you got it straight though. I know where last person's at.
Ball dropped. Enemy has the ball.
He still got that kill? Bro, what? That's criminal.
Seconds remaining. Enemy has the ball. Ball
No way.
Enemy has the ball.
They finished that up. Clutchingly. I think the volume a little lower in this. Oddball still first round. Is that my volume? First round done. Going to round 2 soon. Ooh. Got him. 1 for 1 though. That trade. Pick the ball up. Shotgun. Bro, what is he doing? He was not looking the correct direction.
He's playing Halo.
Man's just looking the completely opposite direction. Oh yeah, he had nowhere near to rotate that ball. We need to get him back out in the middle. They traded.
They traded.
Got that camera, put it to use. Bro, camera. People don't know how to use their camera. They be creeping around the map.
I trade that shit. Capped out dodge. That's gonna help. Very nice. Very nice. Potions.
Did he burn it?
It's in that fight. Let's go. Actually, let me go to the ship and try the skill first so I understand how it operates before I actually try to use it.
What you over there playing?
Hey,
Hmm?
what'd you say?
What you over there playing?
Oh, fucking around in Grand Blue. That's a skill you want to use after you have your plants down. What's your Grand Blue fantasy? Know what I mean? Say good night. All right, let's try it out and practice. See how it works. Going back to my mama house. Quest counter. Play online. Talk shit to everybody. Ugh. He played for one of my boys from Zimbabwe. All right. Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe.
Could talk to my girl. So on a sunny day, she going for the bike ride.
What?
Say it's a sunny day, she going for a bike ride.
At the bike.
She gonna go to the park.
Yeah, to tell you that.
I mean, she didn't have to, but she did.
Very nice of her.
Ooh, so Dark Hour picked up a round, so we're round 3, but FaZe is up by 40 in round 3. Three dead on Dark.
Lucy is offline in 5 minutes. Come on, dog. Y'all done broke the game already. Lancelot and AI.
You ready? You got 6 more days until Dragon's Dogma. You ready?
I'm not ready.
Why you not ready? But you still got to finish. Cause what?
Everything.
You got
Lots of stuff.
you got Final Fantasy
Got all kinds
Intragrade still. You still doing Monster Hunters for both Platinum and that's Platinum Rise and then just a refresher of World, right?
World don't really matter. I haven't really played World very much.
Yeah, because the
I
World
was
is just
playing
it was just a refresher, right?
Yeah, everybody was going back to World, all right?
So, but Rise you're doing the Platinum for,
Yeah.
and then now you got RimWorld dropping. Is that dropping soon, or I can't remember like what that was? Or
What?
did it already drop? RimWorld. That update.
I don't even know what you said. What's dropping soon?
The update for RimWorld.
Oh, the expansion. Well,
Yeah.
the DLC is coming out in a month. Like every time they drop a DLC, they put out like a patch for the base game, like everybody gets for free. Well, that's in like beta unstable right now. So if you wanted to play it, you could just go to beta unstable and check it out.
Gotcha.
So that what I was playing last night was basically all the changes to the base game that everybody is gonna get when the new DLC comes out, regardless if you buy that DLC or not.
Gotcha.
Is what that is. That's supposedly the anomaly DLC. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. There's too many games, bro. Too many games.
Well, it sounds like you got too much. It sounds like you only got 2 things on your main roster.
And I got Final Fantasy Rebirth, too.
But I thought you said you were gonna wait.
I have the game. I just ain't playing it right
Yeah,
now.
I thought. Yeah, I heard you say you're gonna wait for that one because you didn't want to start that and then what you call it was dropping. Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, Dragon's Dogma, let's go.
Alright, so on A Stream, they're actually rotating in between the games, so we might just keep A Stream up then. Oh, but as soon as that happens, they finish their map. But we'll still probably keep A Stream up. Whew. 5 minutes. Oh, bro, we got 5 minutes till the next game starts. Hold on. Guess we pop the Valorant up over here real quick, man.
Again, build up in towards that A site. The real threat, as always, It's going to be
Got Gen G versus EDG.
They're already going to clear the close angles. It almost seems like a direct counter to just the position that Munchkin was playing earlier.
Well, here comes the null command, and assumably the rest of the EDG squad will be following up with it. A full play towards the A side. Lakia seems to be point of contact. It's nobody to find one with Texture down. Munchkin soon to follow, but EDG find a roadblock. Lakia just the one before he falls. The defensive side is now locked out. 2 versus 3. Meteor, okay, he's caught nobody up top. The spike still not planted, but Smoggy finds both kills to close this one out. 8-4 at the halftime. A significant lead for EDG. But Gen G, they recovered it a little bit towards the end. They certainly seem hotter now, moving on to their attack.
Yeah, Lakia got his first kill in that round, so there you go. He's at least on the board, but it definitely was a rough half for him. Meteor is the one that we're really going to be singing about.
1 in 10.
No,
That's
I
crazy.
think the side of EDG are going to be very, very happy with the way that one has gone. A fantastic start for them, but also just continuously adapting. I think they did very well, slowing down a lot of the rounds and just playing with their opponents for the majority of this half.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, on the side of Gen G, they've gotten warmed up. But I want to hear what Chichu had to say earlier on in an interview. Let's see.
Hello， 大家好，我是 EDG 的球球，我在队里担任的是自由人的位置。我觉得赢下 Paperless 的感受是消除了这么久的争议吧，就是我们其实一直是有打赢他们的方法，但是我们一直因为我们的心态没有放开，导致我们的操作很变形吧。因为我们在赛前的时候有看他们的比赛录像，他们是已经有拿出过这套阵容的。而且我们在赛前我们有很多的研究去如何去应对他这个。我觉得今天浩东是今天潜伏的最好的吧，他今天在图2的时候扮演的对我们的帮助很大很大，工作了，我觉得对我们今天掰平比分很重要。对，然后图3的话，我觉得就是我们整体的一个协同跟练习了这么久的战术的一个展现吧。
Managed to get one. The Boombot's done a significant amount of damage, but he's still in the corner. They haven't spotted him. Still just surviving now. Chichu's found another as well. I don't know how these rounds are going down in the fashion they are. Howdong still alive. How has no one cleared this man?
我觉得我们的信心就在来自于我们的两位教练组吧，他们两位对我们的赛前的，就是如何针对对面做出了很多他们各自的想法吧，然后去帮助我们去在赛前的训练的时候去练习。然后去适应可能会遇到的情况，种种的变化吧，这就是我们现在临场比较厉害的一个点吧。我想对这些黑子来说，我知道我们一直以来我们队伍的争议很大吧，我不在乎黑子们说什么，我只知道我们的团队潜力很足。
Where obviously we can talk about the interview there with Chichu and how well Howdong did on Bind. First map removed in the veto. Not really surprised by that one. I wouldn't want to play against that man either, but the fact is he's had a decent first half, but it's mainly been a team effort. And I do feel like a couple of the pieces were missing in that first half. Now, the thing that works with this comp for Gen G is those executes around that double flash. The dizzy flash combo that you can throw out with KO is fantastic. So hopefully they're going to be able to get off the mark here. Otherwise, they're going to have to head into Split, which has been an amazing map for EDG.
Yeah, it's been tough so far. Like you said, that get-go on Lakia, it's hard not to be drawn to.
He's dead.
Well, that's about as poor a start as you could get for the poor guy. He's got the 1 kill, no assists on the back of it, but his teammates looking to pick up the pieces here in the pistol. Already finding a lot of value is Meteor, and he's got backup. Even if they take him down now that he's super low or hear his steps running away, they should not assume that there's another player around here. It's free for Texture. He's also not being off to a great start. A lot of whiffed up shots, but this one, it couldn't get any easier. There you go. Smoggy down, nobody left. 1v3, Meteor low, but everyone else is healthy. And the time is on Gen G's side. This will be a impressive clutch, to say the least. He's got the first already. Okay, maybe there is a chance. A Meteor down below quickly shuts it down. Big round for Gen G to get on the board.
Yeah, you can take the man off the duelist, but you can't take the duelist out of the man. Meteor has been clean so far in this game. 17 and 10, really putting up a lot of numbers individually, but also just finding space. That was basically what he did this round. Just while the rest of the action was going down elsewhere on B-Long, just manages to get through that mid position and find that initial fight. It's going to put them at least, well, if they convert this round within touching distance. And as said, that's all they really need. Like a lot of the games that we've seen from them, they've managed 8 rounds over on this attacking side. So they can easily get this over the line, and wow, what a start to have already. Can't come down, one of the main danger players, because you have to bear in mind, EDG have been unbelievable with their pistols. Even when they have nothing, they've managed to do a lot.
Oh yeah, they were a very scary team when it came to those ecos, and what we're seeing right here for EDG, 4 players stacked up and ready to go. Flash out, kill not coming in onto the little guy. So the plant has been secured. EDG numbers thinned out, and that defensive side doesn't stand a chance at this stage. You have to imagine Chichu 35 HP in a 1v3 with a Sheriff in hand. And 2 of his opponents have rifles with a double peek setup. I don't know how he hit that
what
shot,
is
but thank God
happening
Dexter
right
was
now?
up top to
Like,
cover.
what?
Yeah, they've made that one really costly though. 3 players go down, so it's definitely not ideal. And I believe they lost at least a Guardian in that round. So it's not like you had a load of pistol players alongside them. So I think they could be very happy with that, especially when, for the majority, that was them fighting up against an afterplant. So I think that EDG have done well to make that one as costly as possible. And because of that, well, Lucky is only going to have himself a pistol. We'll see, though. These A-side takes is where I've really enjoyed watching this squad play. I think EDG know that. They've got 3 players here initially.
No, early control is taken by the side of Gen G. They've also put an alarm bot to cover the walk-up. I mean, that's a very aggressive stance. I don't think we saw that from EDG on their attack side at all. No turret to cover their back either. Where's that being placed? It must have been destroyed early. And for EDG, you said 3 players on A. They're still there. But the drone clearing out some space might cause that rotate to come through. I just wonder if Gen G are planning to go back here with Meteor still being so far up, or if he's trying to sneak behind them, which it looks like that was the idea. Not very successful.
Oh, now you're going to have Lackid looking to try and lead the charge. There was a snake bite down. I don't know if that's actually going to deny it. No, it isn't.
Far enough.
Managed to reposition, so that's something at least. Already, though, with that man advantage, and Chichu on a fast flank. Bear in mind, because they lost Meteor, they don't actually have any flank watch. He is just walking up behind them. This is looking like some of the freest kills he's ever going to have. Manages the burst, but now he's just a nuisance and continues to be a flawless round coming out of the side of EDG to put themselves back on the board.
Yeah, this is a big round. I mean, as soon as they take down Meteor, they make the realization the push wasn't coming in there from the drone earlier, from the lack of footsteps and follow-ups, and the lack of entry. There was no dash in, there was nobody taking the space, no flashes, just a guy sneaking up. That's clearly a lurk. Immediately the decision is made to go on that flank, and it was the right call. The value found absolutely massive. But it was one of those rounds for Gen G where you're not going to be happy to give it away, but it's somewhat expected. You don't get a lot of damage. I do think they'll be a bit upset that they got none.
Yeah, no, for sure. It means that now the economy can really build up for EDG. They'll have another buy, and also, in terms of ults, getting that a little bit closer. Now, there is already one online. That null command available. I like the audacity of Kankan to play this spot again. He got a kill from that in the last round. So you'd think it's going to be immediately checked, and I think it may have been. I don't know if Munchkin caught the angle, but Kankan definitely saw him, and here comes that double flash, but he's managed to avoid both. And Kankan, you can't allow him to survive in these sort of positions. Just continues his aggression. Karam, the only one left. He does still have the spike. He's going to try and get the reps off, and Chichu picks him out of the sky.
I think it's fair to say he expected that. Very nice crosshair placement from him. I assume that wasn't just a reactive shot, because that would be a little bit ridiculous. Double digits for EDG on the back of that round. And you know, just looking at this, it's so smart. Kankan falls back, allows the contact to be taken by nobody, and then goes back out into heavy traffic. Yeah, you can see he was thinking about it. He tried to equalize things into a 2v2, at least use the res as a bait to force a fight. But it's not worked out. 10 rounds for EDG, economy absolutely stacked, and Gen G going to be in trouble.
I can't fucking believe we just beat that on my first fucking attempt. That's fucking crazy.
Nice early utility. This is just making them very paranoid about middle, and you can see there's a lot of bodies looking around this area.
Yeah, the thing is, the only real danger, wow. This man is always
that
a danger,
is
but I mean,
fucking
the only real
wild.
danger
I
in
can't
this round for
believe it.
EDG is that Viper's Pit. Like, if they can get that into a position where the weaponry can actually become valuable, that's so filthy. They've used it to force them back. They're pushing them into Kankan. They're looking to just feed him frags. That's such a disgusting use of an ultimate. Just like, here you go, Con. Farm.
Yeah, it's not even a time thing. There's still 50 seconds left on the clock. It's just really locking them into a box. Fish in a barrel for Con on the first, as Gen G now look to take the site, but no matter, well, I was going to say where they go, they don't even get a chance to. Sprayed through the smoke immediately. 2 players holding on the next fight, and Con clean. The final one comes through, and again, we're not going to see any damage dealt. A flawless round for EDG. And if you're on this attacking side, it feels like they're just running headfirst into a brick wall. This is an opportunity as they get the rifles out, but Tom, it could be the
S++, all the things too? Damn, that's crazy.
Confidence out of them. You always want to see that Cinderella
That's the best
story.
group I ever had for this fight.
However, for
Holy
Law Gaming,
fuck.
I think Optic Gaming is just that one step too far. And this one is just going to be about learning to begin with.
Wow, only got one of those things?
Top tower. Formal,
Yeah.
top middle, tapping buttons is going to take the challenge, but Lucid's there. Noble and Acid combined. Drift gets a kill as well. So a lot of posturing going on here as Lord do have control of the hill, and some semblance of control, and perhaps a setup to build on.
Fucking crazy.
You mentioned it earlier, very good individually are
Who might
every
get
single
one?
member of Law Gaming, so it's not like they're going to be scared of challenging these Optic players, but it's when it comes down to the team shot and some of that chemistry, they're going to fall
Man,
behind
drinking
in
on some water.
natural positioning, control. Optic are so well versed, and Lucid with the camouflage now, just trying to suss out where those players are going to be pushing from. And Optic looking to try and make this a 4-0 sweep.
There ain't no way that's gonna happen again. No fucking way.
Lucid happy to hold. Just wait for information. Nothing coming his way. His teammates elsewhere
Then
handling
we got
business.
what? We got
Enemy team
Rise of
members
the
of Law
Ronin
Gaming
also coming
Look
out. the
towards
same
Big
day
Door.
for
They've made it
the
over to the back green
but
now. They've made the cross. Noble and tapping buttons
Thus.
will pick up a couple of kills.
then
Not
we
too
got
far away
Stellar
from claiming
Cheeks
their
coming
first kill
out
against
in
Optic Gaming.
took the hill.
And a real opportunity to get themselves into the game.
Another RPG
Enemy
coming
about
out.
to
in
score.
April.
If they can get a point here, maybe they can start to
Games,
think
bro.
about a potential
Can't
comeback.
keep up, bro.
Very difficult, but it has to start
Monster
somewhere. As
Hunter
Optic
Stories
may just
remake.
leave this one. Doesn't look like they're in a place to challenge it. As I say that, out of nowhere, they're able to drop down onto tapping
we got
buttons, and
Big
they will be able
Crab.
to secure the fourth
Man.
and final
Huh?
hill to win 4-0 in map number 1
Big
here.
Crab.
Law Gaming just couldn't
New
keep up.
World.
Optic Gaming in cruise control in game 1. Lord just didn't have the firepower required to put up a real challenge. It's got to be said. Optic knew this wouldn't be the real challenge today.
How I get in
But
a
it's the
party
perfect
for
warm-up
this
so far.
hard-ass new boss fight.
Yeah, and they are focused. It
Untap
doesn't look
on
like
my
they are
first attempt
playing
of the
in a
day.
way that they're underrating the players they're going up against. I think they would have seen the result against Bittersweet. They would have seen how Law are playing against Complexity, and they probably
That
said, okay,
is
we do need to be careful here. We can't just
I'm
kind of
stunned.
half-ass this one. We need to put everything into it to ensure that we can actually take them down in emphatic fashion. And I think that was what was demonstrated there. I mean, it was about 2 minutes before Law even got a kill on the board. Optic just made sure
How
they
come they
asserted
got
some
no tape
dominance
on their
in the early
headsets?
stages.
Huh?
Taking a look at the tail of the tape. Optic outslaying Lore 50 to 27. So a very clear difference in slays. And you can see that on the scoreboard, finishing 4-0 in the end. And Lore did threaten in that fourth and final hill, but really Optic Gaming were able to break the setups rather easily.
I think one of the struggles when you are an open bracket team and you go into pool play, you would never really have been able to prep for the teams that you're going to be going up against. So starting strategies is always going to be difficult. Yes, okay, when it's Optic Gaming,
just
you've
say one of
probably
the
studied
best
a lot
parties ever. I'm
naturally
about to have
anyway,
the
but when it comes
worst
to
party ever
specific
right
maps
now.
and modes, it's always going to be tough to try and keep up. Slayer Recharge is going to be map number 2. It's something we learned yesterday with Optic versus Complexity. Optic starting strategy heavily focused around camo, of course, but they were countered by Complexity because of that prep that Complexity had done. Don't think it'll be the same situation here for Lore. I think Optic are going to have a little bit more free range off the start of the map, and if they do get that control, if they get camo and shock, this one could get ugly.
It's interesting you bring up the fact that Lore, being one of the open bracket teams, they probably don't get put in situations that they're used to. Backs to the walls, having to break a setup against a really good team, and that was something we spoke to Jimbo about most recently, that Quadrant is the only real team in Europe that give them that sort of challenge. And for Lore, they're perhaps back in LATAM they're one of the best teams, and they don't get put in situations that Optic are doing right now.
It is tough in some of the other regions to get that same practice to try and replicate what the North American teams are capable of, especially the structured ones like Optic Gaming, like FaZe, those who really will pummel you into the ground. But Lucid, I mean, he had a great game to begin with, as I would expect, especially on live fire. Lucid, it usually seems to be his playground, the way he manipulates the map, so I wouldn't expect anything else in game number 1 here.
Seeing Dead Zone stats on your screen as well, 1.44 KD,
He's not moving
17.9,
it.
and he was brought in to be the difference maker. A really disappointing end of their season. This is disappointing. They finished second in their second World Championships, and they make this change. They felt it was time for something fresh. They're looking for Dead Zone to be that man.
And it was a disappointing final qualifier for Optic Gaming as well coming into this tournament, and that's why we see them at 5th seed rather than a top 3 seed, which we're used to. And you know Dead Zone's gonna be thinking, well, is this my fault? Am I the problem here? So naturally you come into LAN then with a little bit more pressure, but also that kind of fire inside you to perform better. And we know Dead Zone has always been an incredible LAN player. So he's probably thinking, whatever, it doesn't matter if we're 5th seed, 4th seed, 3rd seed, we can beat whatever is in front of
trumpets.
us. And that's certainly how Optic Gaming are gonna feel here.
7
And
crumpets.
sadly for Law, they may just be one of those teams that is
Who's
just
that dude in
getting
the
in the way
background?
at
Is he
the moment, and
security?
they might just be brushed aside
white hoodie on?
by a very angry
The white hoodie
Optic
on,
Gaming,
security.
I would say.
Yeah, the white hoodie with the white hoodie. It says lore
Well,
on
Lore
it.
will be
Is that
standing in that way for
is that
at minimum
security?
2 more games. They've already had a pretty historic run as far as things concerned for the Latam region. They'd be doing them proud. We heard Brazil in the back getting pretty loud when they beat Bittersweet. So you know he's happy to see his team perform.
I mean, it's always great to see other regions get into the latter stages of a tournament. As Europeans ourselves, we were always back in the Europeans as well, back in the day when they struggled to do so. As we're into game number 2, Recharge Slayer. You can see Optic straight away down, grabbing that camouflage, trying to dominate the bottom of the map, but it is a good reply here from Law. Sadly for Law, this is another one of the maps and modes they did lose during the open bracket, one of the 3 that they lost. So again, it's not a great omen, but at the same time, that might allow them to kind of study it and work out why they were losing it, as Optic already reply with 2 kills of their own to get back into the game.
4 go down for Optic. Lower have map control. Should have shock rifle to boot. Green wall will spawn over towards glass. Tapping buttons, waiting in blue patiently.
This is an ambush setup, but this is where Law should be able to disrupt Optic Gaming. Individually, very talented, can win gunfights. Just try and get in some gunfights. Try and find those Optic members that are trying to get into positions, but we'd see 2 go down on the side of Law. Optic members just holding hands at the moment to make sure that there is no 1v1s possible. It's always a 2v1 at least, if not a 2v2.
That's the concern, right? You see tapping buttons in blue. They're waiting and just taking the chance, gambling on Optic, rotating through long haul. Instead, they go through Whirlpool, and they manage to isolate 2 members of Lore Gaming, and it's pretty simple for Optic.
And that might work against a team that plays a little bit faster, but we know that notoriously Optic Gaming, a slower team. They like to play with more structure. They will wait. They will be more patient. Even when they're down, they'll say, look, I think these guys will probably move eventually, as now Optic Gaming are right back into it. And they had that shock rifle. You were maybe thinking Lore Gaming had got hold of it, but they had not. And Trippy firmly keeping it in his hands and just about stays alive.
Optic down by 2. Trippy with a shock rifle on bat ledge, trying to dish out some justice. Let's have a little listen and see how they're managing things.
Pushing out C-flat for you.
Push this, push tower.
C-flat, C-flat. 3 shots, C-boxes. 3 shots, C-boxes.
Wow, one shot.
Two one shots tower.
One shot on the Camino as well. And they're both there.
Bottom mango absolute. Is it bottom tower absolute? Just sitting there. Go.
Dead right now.
He's absolute mango pit. I'm being shot by bottom tower, bottom tower.
Mango pick
Bottom tower, Yep, front tower, Joey. Front tower.
Right.
Shock rifle down top tower, I think.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Turbine?
Spawn in, open joint.
Absolute bottom end.
Turn like bottom
That's a
end, dude.
nut.
He was there.
Still here.
Bottom main's dead.
Nice, 2
Two
dead,
dead, guys.
2 dead.
Gold, in gold, in gold.
Gold series man, I think.
2 in gold, 2 in gold, 2 in gold, 2 in
So that dude is the coach and security?
I'm watching
That's
glass.
crazy.
Glass. Shot in gold, tapping.
I
can. One guy glass again.
Do that ledge.
We got nades glass.
You're just sitting in corner now. Just sitting in
I'm trying to get to you. Trying to get to you. Look at C-flat.
What was that absolute? Dead.
Is it long haul?
Ain't that cheating?
Dropped on you, Joey. One shot. Dead.
Two dead, guys.
nice.
What's up, Batledge? What's up, Batledge?
He Batledge.
So he gonna tell, so he tell him to play better.
I'm holding long. They're all gonna spawn gold. They're all gonna spawn gold. Yo, come hit gold door. We should have spawned that first. Three here. Maybe that guy's careful.
Good damn, good. So much damn.
Yeah, go Batledge.
Oh, Batledge batteries, both one.
Yeah, bad batteries. R2. Just 2 shot.
All dead. One just spawned.
Yep, long.
Two there, trailing out. Hold your gold surge in.
Yeah, there's 2 guys there.
Have your gold surge, do whatever you want.
Joey, I'm coming tower, Joey. Come here, Joey.
He's got some pressure on him.
Class.
Here, Joey.
Dude, they're both double sag. One got glass.
We're walking through.
What you be saying?
Let's talk about glass.
Yeah.
But I looked up glass.
Back to gold surge.
Absolutely.
And C-Plat, Joey.
Back salad again.
We're sitting long hall.
Yep, you guys are still silo. C-stairs and silo. C-Plat. 2 guys C-Plat and C-stairs.
Watching
They're
this.
both, go back into long hall. Going back long hall.
One's weak. Tapping.
He's going C-stairs right now.
What's coming, guys?
Yeah, we gotta put pressure on long hall.
That's over the combo. 5 seconds.
Half wall.
I have shock here, man.
Healer guys have shields.
And what's up now?
That's one shot. One C-Plot also lead.
On camo, guys.
Try to acid C-Plot right side. Close right. Trap. He's trapped.
Batledge one bullet. Batledge one bullet.
Shock rifle, my X came on you somewhere.
Was jumping up. Hit him 3 times. He's going.
They're going C-Plat now.
Single box of camo.
On the jump up.
Jump on him.
Jump on tower.
Top tower, camo.
Yeah, I see a shot. 1 shot. 2 shot. 2 shot top tower. Go.
Backside weak.
You know who the DPS is out here? It's me.
Single sack.
Looking lucky, guys.
Do a single
Top
sack.
gold, or top tower.
Backside low. Double team.
I got a melee.
Go hitting gold doors.
Backside low. Behind you. Need behind you, Jay.
1 bullet Batledge. Batledge.
Backside low still. Backside.
2 batteries, guys. Go.
I'll go long.
Caution to see double sack. One's on grapple.
Last.
One long. What's up, guys?
Glass is one.
What just got it?
R2 is a little weak. Give me a Batledge.
Damn,
We just gotta keep
son.
trading out here. I'm coming with you, Joey.
C-Plot.
Gold.
That's crazy.
You just spawn C-Plot.
They're in gold.
I post this.
Yeah, we should push this together.
I'm wake him.
When we left you, Optic were down by 2. Now find themselves up by 1 as we head towards the end game. Lore Gaming have finally restored that lead they had initially, but this one's neck and neck.
Yeah, you can see the intensity of the Optic Gaming communication just kind of upped a little bit as Law were getting closer and closer. As Noble able to get some shock damage on 2 players there to keep this lead at a 2-kill advantage. And Optic need to be careful that they don't allow Law to run away with this one. Noble and Acid at the moment, the 2 players dealing that damage. A great grenade to again keep a 2-kill lead. Just fear that as you get to the latter stages, when you get to crunch time, that's when Optic Gaming, they usually demonstrate that they are leagues above the rest. There's a couple of players on no shields for Law Gaming at the moment, and Optic Gaming know that they are stuck in long haul. So they could get collapsed on shortly.
Noble battling out, working for this camouflage. Gonna be dead zone to drop down, give the wiggle, scoop it up, pop it into his chest. This could be important. Unfortunately, he falls. Lore ensuring that win condition is stripped from the fingertips of Optic Gaming. Tapping buttons, tries to get away. Does so successfully for now, but shows himself again to Trippy, and he makes no mistake at the second time of asking. 3 kills difference here. Lore Gaming require now 7. Optic have got to be careful.
Yeah, this would be massive for Law if they can take a game against Optic for their confidence for the rest of the tournament.
On top of me?
I mean, Slayers should
Better
always
get
be the
up outta
chance.
I'm
Maybe
not
it's just
into
the
that
kind
type
of
of stuff.
sporadic nature of Law Gaming at the moment that
Move the
Optic aren't really
roses.
able to handle, but we are all tied up.
Bustle.
When Optic need to get to crunch time, they regain their lead, 45-44. Has Law's chance to take a game just slip through their fingers here? What are they going to do? Over to spawn at Long Haul. They're going to have to try and make a push into blue.
Oh, he moved. He was a big bitch.
Game slows down to a crawl. Lore happy to stay in long haul, wait for the damage to be done. Drift slides out, gets dead zone. Trippy immediately
I
retreats.
know how to make them
It's a
work,
wise
baby.
move as the Lore push comes. Noble down to no shields, will get taken care of. We're all tied up with 3 remaining.
Lucid, though, a great grenade. Saw that tapping buttons was going to be pushing in bottom A, and they regained the lead by 1. 2 more required now for the green wall. They don't want to throw this one away. They want to make sure that they can just successfully march through this game in a comfortable fashion. But Law Gaming, will they launch some sort of push here? 49-47.
Formal gets the final kill. Lore just built in the latter stages of that Slayer. Optic double their series advantage with one away from topping pools with an unbeaten record.
Yeah, as soon as it got towards the end of the game and Optic realized they were down by a few and it was getting a little bit dicey, it just seemed like they tightened things up a little bit. Started to position themselves in areas where they could catch the Law members, trying to make that flank, trying to make that push. It was a brave push into blue by Law, it must be said. But sadly, the damage and the baiting and switching that we saw from Optic was just too much for them to handle. And even though it is a very close game too, it is still a victory for Optic Gaming, and that's what's important for them. 2-0 in the series.
I think it's important that you touch upon that final play of the game. Long haul push into the blue. And Law were brave. They tried to win the game, tried to take matters into their own hands. Unfortunately, Optic were there and waiting.
You kind of have to, otherwise if you are in long haul, the nades had already started to come through. As soon as you get any sort of indication that they are spawning there, and they had one player who was over towards elevator as well, they would have sniffed them out eventually, and then you get the collapse that happens. So you've got to be proactive if you're Law there. Sadly, Optic Gaming, they kind of caught wind of it too early and were able to set a little bit of an ambush. But there was a period where Optic were up by kind of 5-6 kills and Law came right back into it, and I think that demonstrates that this Law Gaming roster can be a real threat going into bracket play. They can really take some fights, they can hit those shots. They are very much enjoying the Bandit start, but it could get worse now here for Law Gaming, because CTF Aquarius is very fond memories for Optic Gaming. They do like this map.
I'm sure you've got statistics for me on show. You're going to tell me this is Optic's greatest ever game type and that Law don't stand a chance. Take it away.
Not their greatest ever game type, but certainly one that they are comfortable on and they are well versed in. As for Law, they won it a few times, or a couple of times I should say, during the open bracket, so it's not like they're going to struggle. I just think with how Aquarius flag works and from what I've seen from both of these teams so far, it's going to lean towards Optic dominance. So if you are Law Gaming, you need to do similarly to what you just did in that Slayer. Be a little bit sporadic, be a little bit all over the place, try and go against the norm here, be unpredictable, because even though I say Law haven't been able to study Optic Gaming, there's no way that Optic Gaming would have been studying Law, because you don't even know if they're going to get into the bracket play. So there's always those kind of different things you have to consider here as you go into game 3.
We're always talking about keys to success, and it sounds like, Dan, you're saying Law need to make this very awkward, be in unorthodox positions, try and play a little bit differently than you would normally, because Optic are going to play the way Optic do. They're not going to change their recipe, so it's for Law to either adapt or go out on their sword.
Yeah, it's more likely that Law know how Optic Gaming play in this one rather than the other way around. So take that to your advantage. If you know they're going to be more than likely pushing P more often, try and do something a little bit different. Try and get some counter. And a lot of that will come down to whether any of the players are just religious VOD watchers and they know and they have that little bit of extra knowledge, because sometimes just that little sprinkle of something can give you an edge in a game like this.
And something that we've seen teams struggling with yesterday was the power-ups on Aquarius. What numbers do you send? When do you send them? How do you stay alive when the power-up's coming up? And Optic are one of the best at it.
It's the adjustment from online to LAN and how you cannot as freely pick up the overshield on Aquarius. You can't just kind of dive in, hit a slide, and expect to be able to throw it into your chest before you die. You will die on LAN. People will be hitting their shots. And the pros nowadays do not miss. I've heard from a lot of these guys that when you get into that gunfight, if you go a shot down, likely it is, you're gonna die. So you gotta be careful when you are pushing for that overshield.
Important to remember, no matter what happens in this game, Law have already punched their ticket out of the pools and into the bracket. They will be heading into the elimination bracket if they can't find themselves back into this series. But what an achievement that is for these boys.
It would be a great, well, it already is a great achievement, of course. However, if Optic Gaming are to win this series, they will top their pool. Complexity will be second, and Law will go through in third. And that is far too easy, getting the overshield. Just as I say, you can't slide in and grab the overshield just like that. It happens far too quickly. At the same time, though, it did seem like Law focused on other areas of the map. They took down 2 members of Optic, and they said, look, let's maybe just go by power, by numbers. We'll win the initial engagement, and then we will hunt down the overshield player.
Law managed to get 3, but it's still Formal pushing his way onto the opposing flag. Lucid sitting top middle. Formal's just going to wait for good damage here before he pulls that flag. I don't think he managed to get it to drop. He's happy to give it up for now. Drift desperately trying to find him and clear his angles. Chasing ghosts as Formal just backs away. Keeping Law pretty uneasy here.
In fairness to Formal, he's not usually the guy on the team to be pulling the flag. It's mostly Trippy who gets in the base and starts the run. And I think Formal just wanted the distraction for the most part, but it's worked out. Second time's a charm, does get the flag out of the base this time, but 3 are dead for the side of Optic.
Wow,
So this
I
flag
got 2
should be
W's
dead as
already?
well, but Lucid on his own on the map still
What the
pulls off
fuck
a
is
double kill.
going
That's just
on
something that
today?
Optic do. That's just Lucid doing Lucid things as usual.
Dead zone. Battle rifle swapped out now for the bandit as the thrust. Tapping buttons was there, came back for vengeance. Now it's an opportunity for Laura, who have control of Blue Gen. Gonna be a trade for Formal, a big one at that.
What?
Both flags gonna get pulled at the exact same time. Perhaps another one of those distraction plays.
What you doing up here, Butter? Huh? You playing?
As Optic
Where?
Games come off the respawn, can they get the stop here? Or will Lore take the lead? Flag down in the courtyard, a couple of kills go in their favor. Dead zone, the last man standing. Drift desperately waits for his teammates to get the read. And Lore just moments away from taking the lead.
Well, that's a great start for Law. Overshield as well. And Optic just need to be careful. They don't allow Law to gain too much momentum off of this. That's twice now Optic had one player that was kind of behind enemy lines, but then got caught out. Then they were at a player disadvantage. Laura winning some really pivotal engagements that are allowing them to take this control and have height on this map as well.
Wait, you're not even
Drift, I mean, I've always
guaranteed
been
to
a
get
big
one?
fan. He is performing just as I would expect coming into this tournament. Nice stick to go out.
Lore playing scrappy. Optic playing a little loose in the opening engagements here. Formal goes down in the fridge.
Who's winning, huh?
A couple of members of Lore can now descend in the base. 3 dead for Optic, and another opportunity for Lore to double the lead here. Dead zone. Tries
So
he might put damage down, tapping buttons down with no shields. It's gonna be a fridge spawn.
That's
The members of the green wall. Trippy gets one, Formal another. They're baiting and switching expertly here. 3 go down for Lore.
Law getting
Get him out of here,
at the
Granddad.
moment. Optic being outslayed by 8.
Yeah, I didn't even get one from that. That's
Perhaps
crazy.
Optic came into this third game thinking it was going to be a little bit more comfortable than it was, and a lot of individual runs were made, a lot of individual plays were being made, and that's just allowed and kind of played into the advantage of Law Gaming, because Law want the individual fights. Law know they can win these individual engagements. That's not where they're losing this series. They're losing the series in the teamwork aspect, in the objective aspect, but Optic maybe will get wise to that as we progress through this game. They're already down by 6 now in terms of slays, but of course still a flag down. They need to gain some control on the map, and it's going to start with the overshield spawning in 3 seconds.
They split the overshields 1 for 1. Noble's just locked in his second for Lore. 2 dead. Make it 3. Trippy all alive, all alone on blue brick. Excuse me, triple kill for Noble, and Dead Zone could be about to be the over. 4 dead for Optic momentarily. But Lore giving as good as they're getting here, holding a 1 lead advantage, and they're happy to push forward and look for more.
Yeah, I think we found one of Law's better maps and modes here. You can just see by the way they're playing, the confidence in which they're moving around the map, whether it be individually or whether it's when they have support. But for all the early dominance and for all the outslay they have, they're only up by 1. And that's, again, always going to be a concern against a team like Optic Gaming, because Optic are very good at adapting. Optic are very good at learning on the go against the teams that they're facing. And they will start to notice patterns, but Drift gets a triple kill. However, will it be in vain? Because Trippy found space behind enemy lines here and can start running this flag.
Drift having a very successful game number 3. Had quite a lot of assists in the Slayer as well. Trippy falls. Flag still out. Formal gets a touch to keep it alive. Lucid's there. 3 dead for Lore, but they brought it to the 1 player that can have an influence in Noble. Formal's got a challenge just to try to provide some cover fire. Trippy's there. Down to no shield, though he falls to the podium. And Lore have an opportunity to get close to the flag, get the return. Lucid can't get a pick.
Yeah, Lucid can't actually get that kill. Did a lot of damage though, and now the flag will be pulled. Lore have successfully stopped this one. And they may be able to send this one home at the same time. You've got to be careful if you're Optic Gaming. It doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to get a touch on it in the moment. Lore have wrestled back that control. So impressive from Law. And Optic, that's a frustrating one because they were so close to capturing it. And now they have to restart all over again. What's crazy is they did have 4 down from Law Gaming, and that last player, he spawned in the gen, and he was able to do that little bit of damage just to stop that flag from being able to move as fast.
Unfortunate spawn indeed.
Great shots.
Dead zone though. He moves that flag quicker than most. 2 dead for Lore. And perhaps this is the opportunity, this is the moment for Dead Zone to slam this flag in and tie up the game 1-1.
Sometimes you just need your objective player to step up to the plate. One of my biggest criticisms of people who run flags, they'll kind of drop it and maybe fire a few shots here or there, or they're no shield, so they try and stay alive. Dead Zone committed, Dead Zone trusted his teammates, and that is the perfect player that you need on your team in flag game types. And now he's going to try and go back to back here. Again, he's low on shields, but he trusts that Trippy will get the kill, and Optic begin to move their second flag.
5 minutes.
It appears as though Dead Zone has sighed and said, fine, I'll do it myself. As he runs this second flag in. Nobody from Lore able to stop it. And just like that, 2-1 now the score. And we're all tied up on Slays just about. That start that Lore had, that success they were seeing, it means nothing now.
That is sometimes the difference between our top teams and those who are progressing out of the open bracket, is that when it does get to these later stages, the bigger teams just learn and they do adapt. Lore Gaming, sadly, even though they had such a hot start, Optic Gaming seemed to have sussed them out a little bit, but that doesn't mean Lore are done. Drift now running this one, has to be careful of the damage, good positioning from Trippy. Dead Zone's also going to be there to support them, and here comes the Optic flood. I think Optic have realized they have to play together a little bit more in this game. They were very individual to begin with, and it really played into the hands of Lore.
Flag remains out. Just about a quarter left on it. There was a thruster packed down and utilized immediately. Formal picks up 2 kills. Lucid picks up another. Heat Wave has just come out of the oven. The brawl down bottom middle, and Lucid's come out worse for wear. Acid drops to the front base, desperately trying to keep it alive. 3 dead. Formal continues to do damage, but tapping buttons wins that 1v1.
Expert plays from Formal as well with the position he found himself in. He knew that they were going to try and desperate the flag. Let's take an angle where they can't shoot back at me until it's too late. Now with 3 minutes 20 left on the clock, Optic hold the lead. It's now back over to Lore to see what they can do. Can they find any of that same energy we saw in the early stages? But as we see the likes of the Heat Wave suddenly in the hands of Optic Gaming now, this could get ugly, especially with Trippy having it in his hands. He knows how to play a Heat Wave. He knows the positions to find himself in, and he gets a double. That's 3 dead. Optic can now push off of this.
Lore started the turtle, 4 dead. Lucid pulls flag out. Spawns over towards the fridge. Acid's going to be the initial pick. That's going to be big trouble now for Lore. Drift in the front base. Needs help, not going to get it. Dead Zone is there. But it's 2 dead for Optic. They might have just been able to relieve the pressure, Lore. Keep this game alive. They go down by 2, you will fear the worst. Flag has got returned. Lore survive.
Still very close in Slays though. Only leading by 2 are Optic Gaming. As now the Optic fans starting to believe that this one is looking more and more likely like a 3-0 series. Lore just need to pull something out, and that overshield is probably one of their last chances to try and take an advantage in this one. They've been doing really well at getting the overshield so far, but Optic getting some big kills here. Is anyone in position to grab it though?
Lore only been outslayed by 2, but that could be about to get worse as Formal picks up the overshield. It's completely gone. He got 1. It was tapping buttons. It was an important kill. Acid though. Beautiful bank shot nade. Lore have got to be able to push up the map now. They've got numbers advantage. Lucid is alone in the engine, but that's what the spawns are going to be. Formal down to no shields right off the rip. Lucid gets a back whack. The fight on the car side. These last few moments are vital for Lore. They've got to get something going.
Or Drift does just about get the 3rd kill. But Optic Gaming off the spawn, they're finding those players who have taken that damage. Again, it's the communication from Optic just to ensure that players are not getting away on no shield. 1 minute and 10 now left. And I like what I've seen from Law. They're already guaranteed top 12, of course, progressing into the bracket, but I think they are a real threat to compete with the top 8 teams. But there's still a little bit of life. There's still a chance that they could maybe make something miraculous happen in this series. 50 seconds, though, for someone to step up. Someone to be the hero for Law Gaming.
This could be the moment then. Lucid alone on car side. Law being made to fight for every inch, but Lucid, when you're hitting 5s like that, time doesn't even need to be a factor. As we head towards the final 30 seconds, Lucid gets another kill. Somebody needs to stop him.
How many times do we see that happen when Lucid, one of the last players alive, and he still pulls off a double kill? He's been the thorn in the side of Law all game long as Formal also gets another. 18 seconds, but 3 are dead for Law. They're going to have one last ditch attempt to try and get onto this flag. But Optic can now just hold the line here. The green wall will well and truly be set up.
Formal turret, sitting bottom middle. We're running out of time. They're not going to get close. Noble will fall. Law will fall.
So, Pope, this
to
is
the
how we
Optic
do.
Gaming sword. 3-0 the series score.
3-0. It's over.
And it wasn't as
Moving
dominant
on to
as
Call of
perhaps
Duty.
expected.
How
but I
come
think
you
that
ain't
we have
watching
to
the
give credit
Fortnite
to
one?
Law there for how they played and how they forced Optic
Why not?
right to the very end in what was a closely contested tie. But the score will say 3-0 overall in the series. We have to take our hats off though. Law will be progressing through to bracket play because they took down Bittersweet early on. But it does confirm that Optic Gaming topped their pool and they are looking pretty hot.
How they
here
gonna
in Ireland.
copyright you?
Optic on top. Taking a look at the stats. Tapping buttons with 27 kills, leading the lobby.
Oh,
Looking
so
at the
you
slays,
can't.
Dan,
Oh.
Optic only winning by
That's
4
weird
in the
that you
end,
can't
but if
stream-
they had
you
that
can't
all-important
stream-
little patch in the middle of the
you
game where they
can't
got those
stream
2 flags
content
back to
from
back.
At the
YouTube?
start, they were getting outslayed by +10 at one
That's
point. It
stupid.
just it was one of those starts where they didn't really know what was happening. And again, that could come down to just the sporadic nature of how Law were playing. They were all over the place. Even though Trippy got the overshield in the very beginning of the game, watch what happened afterwards. It was a Law swarm. Well, we don't see it, but it was a Law swarm where they said, look, we can actually gain control of the map. We know that Optic are going to focus on the OV, and then we'll just take down the player as long as we all work together. And I think that Law, they're good on Aquarius, capture the flag. That's definitely one to note if you're one of the teams that might face them later in the bracket if it does come back up in the series layout.
Jug.
We saw a couple of triple kills from the likes of Drift, the likes of Noble, and we know what Acid and tapping buttons can do. This is not the last we'll see of them today for sure.
It's very difficult to criticize Lore after how well they played in that Aquarius game, but you speak about how they were outslaying them by 10, maybe 12 kills, and you have to press home your advantages. We spoke about at the start of the series, if Optic Gaming give you an opportunity, you have to take it or you'll live to rue the day.
I think it was more though Optic at times. You had like one player who was pushing Carl, one player was pushing P, one was down bottom middle, and they were all trying to do their own thing. And I'm not going to say they were underestimating Law Gaming, but it certainly felt like that in the early stages, because then as soon as they started playing together, the kills started to go their way and started to favor them more heavily. So Optic just a slow start, but that's okay. You can have slow starts and you can have bad games, because if you can still win your bad games, the age-old saying is, I mean, still championship form. As long as you are winning, despite not playing your best, maybe your best is yet to come. And Optic may need that later on in the tournament when they face the likes of SSG. And FaZe Clan, of course, the reigning champs. 3-0 though is going to be the confirmation of the best of 5 we've just seen. And Optic, they'll top their pool.
Optic remain on top, packing up their stuff, and no doubt ready to play again. Looks like they could be on a collision course with FaZe, and what a series that's going to be, Dan. Gonna be some teams along the way that can maybe upset the apple cart, but right now they're in good form.
Yeah, you've now got to look at the teams that are in kind
Treble box. Catch
the other
them up
areas
in Fort
that Optic are going to
Knox.
have to face before they get to the likes of FaZe and SSG. I mean, we've seen teams like Foe, for example, performing well and showing that they can be a real threat. We know that Complexity have already played against Optic, but they were in that kind of bracket scenario that maybe they could have been a squad. Rebellion is a team that Optic may have to face as this bracket goes on as well. So it's not like Optic can already start thinking about FaZe and SSG. There are a couple of teams that actually could throw a spanner in the works.
Teams you speak of, they've already toppled Complexity. That was going to be a difficult one. That was one we thought could be some trouble, but they managed to handle business there. has to be said, they're in fine form, Dan. I'm excited to see what's to come.
Very excited to see what is to come, and we've got more
Really?
action on your screens as well, because there are still pool play games going down. We have to resolve other teams to see whether they can top the group. We mentioned Space Station. They're playing against Business in the moment. Of course, Business progressing through the open bracket. After forfeiting their pool play spot, they still found their way through, but they're 2-0 down at the moment against SSG. We did see earlier on, Business lost to Foe. So this might be their last chance to try and do something in this bracket, but at the moment it's not looking particularly great.
You spoke about them conceding their
I mean, what Xbox and PC?
bracket play. That was going to be, of course, the native for anybody wondering why that happened. Well, Druk couldn't make it to the tournament, and so they had to try and find a sub, somebody to fill in. That was going to be Avenue. He was available, but if they wanted to keep their pool play spot, they would have had to play with their coach. They opted instead to pick up somebody new, hoping their chances of progression, a chance in the tournament would improve as a result. But up against SSG now, they've already lost, like you say, a couple of series, Dan. This is not the one you want to be depending on your tournament life.
Those pro controllers or special controllers, yeah, that's part of it. Having those pedals on the bottom. Hitting that motherfucker, he all the way over there. Wow, right? You didn't even wait like 3 seconds. That shit too much money, bro. It's already bad enough a controller costs more, damn near the same price as a game. Like, it's crazy. I don't got a controller then. Shit. Mocha stick out. Big Sparkles 2.0. Platinum diamonds and shit all in it and shit. Right. Pink and sparkly and shit. T-Pain hats all over it and shit. Dang, that boy dodging everything. Pink Sparkles, dog. You know how it go. Move him. Smack him in his head with it. Put some D. FF Babe. It gotta be FF Babe. FF Babe. It's like a pink. Yeah, sound about right. Man over here making controllers. Huh. Michael Jackson told me it don't matter. Might be getting dirty, dog. Guess I need to bust a nut. Hold on. Concave all day, baby. Wait, what's that mean? They got that feedback. You talking about haptic feedback stuff? Well, like on the PlayStation 5 controller, like when you press like a trigger button, there's some resistance and shit. Like you could turn it off. I thought that's what you was talking about. Like there's interesting. Oh, don't know nothing about that. I don't play shooters, alright? No, I don't care about that. What? I'll be gripping. One vibration, dog. I think my shit sounded like your phone on your desk. This motherfucker moved. Eat some boy ass. Damn, space station is fucking me up.
Scuff design for a new controller. Check out this sexy design. It's a nod to the original OG logo and a great way to rep the green wall. Choose between the Reflex for PS5, the Instinct for Xbox, and the brand new Envision for PC gaming. Guess what? Scuff saw your comments and they're now selling the faceplates separately for the Envision and the Instinct for $29.99.
Big up the Cockshares. Sorry, I'm kind of busy. Kind of not. Leave a message.
Yeah, the mega rev boys hear cinnamon. Flow tastes sweet like cinnamon. Open up doors, I'm a gentleman. View top floor, I'm still staying ahead of them. Running on fumes and adrenaline. Do what I do best. Can't rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet.
I can't fucking believe what's happening right now.
Don't worry about what next, just know we got now.
I struggled all day, like what was that? What day was that I streamed? All day, didn't get a W. Then I played last night after I got off stream. I played a little bit. Got my first W at the end of the night. And now I try this morning and get 3 W's in a row.
Don't be sorry. I love you.
Well, loving a kid is sometimes a gray area.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Bro, how the fuck did you do 3,400? You've been playing the fuck out of this game, bro. You got 3,416 commendations, bro. I mean, you've been playing a lot. Bro, I still ain't get another one of those things. Wow. It's some old bullshit. Something went wrong. You ended down the street in your thong. What is this? What am I watching, Pope? What is this? Cyber Showdown. What the hell is Cyber Showdown? I'm watching with you streaming. 0 for 3 Industries. All right. No, 0 for 3. 0 for 3. Alright? 0 for 3. Every Halo they made's been trash. Let's go. 0 for 3. 0 for 3. Alright. Bro, what? Oh, this is some bullshit. I done got 3 wins and only got 3 of these things, and 2 of the wins I got, I didn't even get the Tears of the Apocalypse. Come on, granddad. That shit ain't even right. I don't really have that many. Oh, I got 38. Pop them open then. Fuck it. Unlocked. What's unlocked? who got wrong? Hello there. Hello there. Hello there. Hello there.
Escape and just be a nuisance for other teams to try and find.
The other team never really know where he's going to be, what he's going to be doing, and I think that that's a scary prospect.
He is such a tough kill.
That man moves around like a spider monkey.
I've always just had like natural aggression in game, and I've never really like ever thought to not push. I feel like when I'm in my zone and like I'm in flow state, like that is what my playstyle just comes off as, and most like other players just try to live too much when they can probably do more on the map, just going out there and dying. Sometimes it's good to die, I feel like. Dude, why are you playing? Why are you doing it?
Just run around, don't give a
What did he say?
If you've never met Bound and you only know him from like Twitch or like online, basically, I guess he's kind of controversial. Like, he's like an aggressive troll, I guess would be a good way to describe it.
I'm the best player in the game, dude.
Shepard! That cannot be happening!
I'm him. I'm him.
Bound is a quirky one. He's very quirky, he's very funny.
He likes to make people laugh in like just little off comments and things like that.
I think most people would be surprised how people are in real life compared to what their persona is online.
Like, out of the game, Bound is like, he's so normal. I don't know, he's just really easy to get along with. He's funny, like class clown.
He always tries his hardest in scrims.
He rarely complains about like much, honestly. He just wants to win.
Wait, have you guys ordered food here yet? Because I put the convention in the center, but like, do they go here or the other side? We'll walk over there. Shit, that's her. Alright, nah, chill, don't come that close. Won every game by like an inch, pretty much. They honestly should have probably won at least one, but playing with the team I'm currently on, it's a blessing. These guys have all won LAN events. They're super, super humble.
Eco, Stella, Penguin, these guys are absolutely phenomenal. So for me, a win is inevitable.
How he fits in is a very interesting question because he came in to replace Renegade, who is widely regarded as, I don't think anyone would argue, as one of the best players in the game. And Bound was picked up as a young up-and-comer who had a lot to prove.
People need to remember this guy is still relatively new. People will remember this moment of Bound being on the cusp of winning as the initial signs of the greatness to come.
I definitely have something to prove just because I feel like I'm on a team that has won. I replaced someone on a roster where they did win twice.
On this lineup, I feel like he's willing to learn, and he is the playmaker for them. He is allowed to go and do what he does best, which is opening up the map, picking up 1, 2, 3 kills, dealing damage, because he knows that his teammates are going to be there to back him up. So I think he's the catalyst for all things good for Space Station.
With the way Bound has looked in scrims, I can tell he's hungry. I can tell it's only a matter of time before he gets that win, even if he has to will his team forward, even if he has to be that main guy, which, let's be honest, as of right now, he already is that main guy.
People view me as some superstar type player, and I feel feel like I'm definitely capable of doing it.
The next step for him is to go on and win a championship himself.
We're definitely striving for Bound's first win. I think Bound deserves a win.
I think Bound sees himself as the greatest of all time by the end of his career.
I think he's going to continue to push boundaries, and he is a special player that I can see lifting a lot of championships going forward.
Yeah, I feel like we've been close so many times. I mean, there was Worlds, and then even the last event, the way we lost, like, it hurts, but like I know that we're still capable. We just get so close every time, and we just have to put it together one time. I think we have it. Halo is my life. It has been for probably about 10 years. It's pretty much all I thought about since middle school. I didn't plan to become a pro. I just thought of it one day, and here I am. So after gaming, I guess we'll just see where it takes me.
You had already started off with lots of hills.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. It drives the future of autonomous driving, powers cloud services for billions, helps change the course of climate change, connects communities of gamers anytime, anywhere, and uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD, together we advance.
Hey, guess what? New year means a new optic scuff design for a new controller. Check out this sexy design. It's a nod to the original OG logo and a great way to rep the green wall. Choose between the Reflex for PS5, the Instinct for Xbox, and the brand new Envision for PC gaming. And guess what? Scuff saw your comments and they're now selling the faceplate separately for the
That's what you like to see. Yeah, caked up.
Do what I do best, can't rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet. Don't ask questions, trying to figure out what sound. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now.
I mean, literally. They playing Elden Ring? Hey, that's crazy. Oh. I need to still play Elden Ring. I don't know why people think he needs to play Elden Ring.
I am going to get it. I am going to get it.
Who came up with this shit?
Put it on the line. This will silence all the critics. I will leave with many rings because I am going to get it. Find my rest where lions sleep. Walk the talk, that's highest speech. In the city, fighters with me going after prior peace. Higher, I go higher, light a fire, that's required. And we rally in the street like a riot. Got the pilot.
Good afternoon, Arlington, Texas, and welcome back to the 2024 HCS Arlington Kickoff Major hosted by Optic Gaming. And I know you guys have been watching all of the action this morning because we had pool play going on and our open bracket teams filling in their spots in the pools. They were at work yesterday trying to get that opportunity to get on the main stage today. And my goodness me, have we had some upsets already this morning. Yesterday was filled with upsets, potential and opportunity. And today is more of the same. Welcome to the desk. I am Lottie, joined by Wes and Tony. Gents, day 2, it's Saturday. We know what that means, championship bracket, but we've had a bit of a shake-up. And day 1 was definitely the start of the shake-up here, and it's only gotten shakier. Clutch, how are you feeling about yesterday?
Yeah, new Bandit starts would kind of mix things up and allow players to maybe catch fire and impact the outcome of series more. It looks like that was the case as players have caught fire, especially through the open bracket. They've already started to create upsets.
They certainly have indeed. And Tony, when we go back to the off-season, we knew things were going to get mixy, right? We knew that these teams were out for blood and the competition was going to be fierce as ever. Did you expect how fierce this really would be, even day 1 and coming into day 2?
Hey, you know, every tournament we come in and we say there's going to be some surprises, but man, there were some real upsets in pool play. So I didn't predict it, I'm gonna be honest with you, but it was definitely fun to watch.
It certainly was indeed. We're looking right now back at some of the highlights from yesterday, and these were really great for a lot of our teams. I think when you look at our big 3 coming in and the opportunities for some of the dark horses that were also trying to squeak their way with an upset, we certainly saw some. And some to note as well, Shopify Rebellion were absolutely fantastic, and also Europe Foe. I think they had a lot of pressure on their shoulders with what Quadrant managed to do last year, and they've come into things and have really shown signs of competition.
Still a lot of work to do for Foe, but they have looked strong against the strongest competition they faced. They didn't turn those series into wins necessarily, but it gives you hope and it gives you a little bit of something to pay attention to as especially this Saturday rolls around, where bracket play becomes the most important for these players to continue to catch fire.
And they were heating up with Complexity especially. I mean, we saw some body shots being had in Pipes there in gold on recharge from Rynoob against Optic Gaming of all squads. I mean, Tony, things were getting spicy, so for me, I think things are going to heat up day 2, and right now the mentality seems to be just as hot with some of these players as well.
Yeah, if you're watching Complexity, get used to just that. Whether winning or losing, they feed off of energy. So when you see Ryan make a play, he's going to get loud. Even earlier today, Descendant dropped a nasty overkill.
He's big, man.
He was putting little extra body shots onto tapping buttons in pool play. They love to feed off of that energy. Win or lose, you're going to see plays, you're going to see passion like that.
You are. I think it sparked a little something with Optic Gaming, because we heard the words from Formal yesterday in the interview. He wasn't too happy about that. I think he found it really funny, but I don't know if I want to pick a fight with Optic Gaming like that, especially day one.
Yeah, but I was talking to Formal late last night, and he was just like, you know what, that actually is just Ryan Noob being Ryan Noob. He hasn't changed in about 15 years, so what's a surprise that Ryan Noob is talking trash, getting loud, even in a series where he's down and inevitably going to lose because Optic Gaming looks strong.
Very true. They do look awfully strong. We need to talk about some of the main things that happened yesterday. For you guys who didn't actually catch the action, some crazy, crazy things went down. The first being Sentinels. What a disappointment for this team. I think they're going to be just scratching their heads right now about what happened yesterday. It was a really rough day one for them. They lost both of their matches in pool play, something that we did not expect coming in as the top of their pool seed-wise, and then to fall short. They've come into day two, and it only gets worse, Clutch. They did lose out, and they are now out of the tournament.
People get mad at me because I'm a harsh critic and I don't give people the benefit of the doubt or the credit that they say they deserve. I try to give Sentinels their flowers, saying that they're in the same tier as some of our big three. I'm sorry, fans. That was a mistake. Sentinels did not show up this weekend at all. You know that there was probably some troubles for individuals adjusting to whatever the weekend brought them, but their weekend is over, and what a disappointment for such a talented roster, a roster with such high ambitions. This has got to stick.
You know, I don't want to pile on Sentinels, but when you look at this roster, you know, you see players, you're not looking at players like, oh, these are some online kids. These are some players that have had their best successes on land. So when we expect to see that skill set, that success translate from online to land, and then we see the performance like this, it's disappointing. And now my question really becomes is, where do you go from here? Like, do you just hit the chalkboard? Do you try to change up some strategies? Where do you go from here if you're Sentinels?
Well, that's the big problem. We gave them their flowers for sticking together, for saying that they believe what they have in-house. They just got top 16. Top 16 is absolutely unacceptable. They avoided the team changes coming in through the offseason. But if I'm Sentinels, this is not acceptable. Something has to change, and I do think a team change is coming their way. What it is, I have no idea, because I have respect for all four of these players and what they've been able to do in the past, but something went wrong this weekend that will eat at them. This could be the start of a different Sentinels to come.
It certainly can indeed. And in terms of what went wrong, I mean, we're looking right now at their last
Val COD is not the problem, I'll tell you that much right now.
Val COD is a very, very good player. In terms of picking apart, honestly, what went wrong for this roster, because they're not lacking talent, let's be perfectly clear with that. We've seen them in the offseason, they were very consistent. Coming into this, there has to be an outward factor. There has to be something that had gone wrong. Do you think they can clean that up though, Wes? Do you think a team change is necessary? Or honestly, is this just a terrible tournament, a terrible start to the season that they can overcome?
I don't know what's happening in-house, but what I would say is it's not necessary. They've been so consistent for almost a year now, competing against the top three, getting at least in the top six. But what I will say is from previous knowledge of how Halo teams
what the
work,
fuck?
and how
Everybody, we're
esports
just
work,
killing this shit today. Like, it's crazy. Like, yesterday, these motherfuckers could squeeze out a W if they was on the toilet.
Top
All right,
16.
with diarrhea.
We just lost to Cloud9, for God's sakes. This can't happen. In my opinion, something's got to change.
I totally understand where your head's at with that one, and it's very difficult. It's a very difficult pill to swallow, whether they have the medicine that they can remedy when they get back home and come back stronger. Who knows? But we'll be definitely looking out for Sentinels coming into the next tournament. But to kind of mix things up a bit, let's talk about the up-and-comers and who we saw really performing yesterday and maybe surprising a few people, including their own fans. We had some really, really good pool play, and we've got the results for you as well here. I was so impressed with Shopify Rebellion. They were absolutely fantastic yesterday in their pool. Not only did they cause the upset, but they just went on and they were looking really strong. Tony, in particular from Rebellion, what were you impressed with the most, and what do you want to see them carry into championship bracket?
I mean, I love the energy, I love the speed, I love the objective efficiency coming out of them, and right off the rip in the tournament, upsetting, or what some people consider an upset versus Sentinels, was really good. It was a great way to start it off, but kind of what we talked about backstage, Wes, like, with how Sentinels looked this tournament, my question is was that more of Shopify Rebellion stepping up and being the most dangerous team that we thought they were, or was it just, hey, Sentinels had a bad tournament, you beat a Proton and Cloud9 team that you're supposed to beat, so my expectations have kind of lowered since then, and now I want to see more for them.
Yeah, it's like quality of win is what we're talking about. Yes. And at the start, when we see them beat Sentinels, we're like, oh wow, Shopify is who we think they are. Now that quality of win doesn't look so good after Proton and Cloud9 both handled business against Sentinels as well. I still think we have a lot to learn about Shopify. I still think that they're a strong team, and having a 1 seed advancing from your pool is going to give you a fantastic bracket to at least get top 6.
It certainly will indeed. As you can see, everybody else has finished their pool play. We got 3-0 for FaZe, Space Station Gaming also, and Optic Gaming also. So the big three looking absolutely fantastic right now. But we do have a series happening for Shopify Rebellion. Speaking of the Devils, we do actually have them going up against Cloud9. Now, is there something to be said for Cloud9 right now, coming off a very, very hot victory upset against Sentinels? How are they going to be feeling going up against Rebellion? Is there a chance for them to take this?
Here's the thing. When these open bracket teams come into Saturday, they get 3 straight matches. They are playing everyone for their first match of the day. So when you get a couple series under your belt to warm up and feel good, especially when you beat a Sentinels, that's the momentum you can build on. Is this series going to be close? That's the big question. We're in game 1 right now. Cloud9 is up 3-1.
Yeah, they are up 3-1. They're looking so good. This could be the momentum that we're talking about. And Rebellion, they need to slow this down. Kill that momentum dead in its tracks. We're having a live looking at this match. We're not going to stay on this for long, folks. But right now, I'm a little worried about Rebellion. They need to find something, dig deep, try and get out of this trench that they're in. Because Cloud9, they're just going to speed roll. They're feeling so good. I heard them yelling earlier when they finished their Sen match. And Tony, that could be very dangerous. But Rebellion, I know they can answer back.
Yeah, this is a great test for Shopify Rebellion because you're talking about stylistically, it's really a tough matchup for Shopify Rebellion. What I want to see Shopify Rebellion do is win some of those individual pivotal fights when they're outside of the range of their teammates and against the likes of the Septify and the Diagrams who have some of the better shots in the game. They're going to test them. So honestly, I want to keep my eye on that matchup and see how that goes. Like we said, we don't know what to expect from Shopify, so a great test matchup for them.
It's a very good test matchup. And talking about Rebellion, Clutch, you know, when you look at them and what they managed to do yesterday, yes, they took down Sentinels. Sentinels, a very good team. Was that the crux, do you think, for Sen in terms of the path to this disappointment? Did Rebellion shake them so much that they just were unsure of their game plan going into the rest of the weekend? And how much can we read on that with Rebellion going up against some tougher competition today?
It's definitely tough when you play the hardest team in your pool first, because when that doesn't go your way, you're immediately getting thrown into the next match. And mentally, being able to reset. I mean, these guys are veterans. They should be able to do it, but they weren't able to do it this weekend. It definitely rocked them, I'd say. And Sentinels obviously weren't able to recover from that initial rocking. So it was great for Shopify to have that yesterday and build on that. They need to figure stuff out in the series that they're playing in right now, because that is a can't-lose series. You've done the hard work to get the first seed. You got to make sure you punch your ticket to that first seed in the bracket.
You do, especially when you come to the next part of the competition. It's only going to get harder from here. You need to have that similar mentality, the ability and knowledge that you have, that confidence behind you to take down Titans, to take down teams that are difficult as well. So looking out for Shopify Rebellion, seeing what they can do in that last pool playing match of their day. But I also want to talk about Foe. I was so impressed with Foe yesterday. I was so impressed with the level of competition from this European roster. It's not easy having to go through all of the changes and the ripple effects that Europe felt from the Legend move. And Foe, they've capitalized on that, picking up Chick, who got dropped from Quadrant, looking so good. Jimbo's having a great time with his team. I think he's feeling super comfortable, and Mighty's has already shown up as well. So glimmers of hope here, Tony, for Foe and for Europe. How are you feeling about this team heading into their champ bracket?
To be honest with you, I'm feeling really good about Foe. I think they really surprised me. Obviously, we were impressed with what we saw from the qualifier from Foe, but to come in on North American soil and do what they do, I was looking at the stats, and when it comes to assist per kill ratio, they have the most in the tournament. So that tells me that they're really leaning on their strats. They're leaning on their teamwork. They know that that is their strengths, and when you go up against some of the best teams in the world, if you could exploit one perimeter, one angle, and use that teamwork to get one kill, you make the job a lot easier. I think Foe are playing terrific Halo.
A big thing for me is, can this roster do this consistently? They had a very strong series against Space Station, even taking a game, which I was surprised of. Beating Native and Business aren't necessarily the biggest accolades you could achieve, but you play who you play, especially in pool play. I'm very excited to see their bracket, who they kind of stack up against, because I do think it's a very bracket-determined destination where this Foe roster ends up. But if they can consistently play at the level they were yesterday, I think the 50-50s that I would give them against maybe the top 6, top 8 teams in North America, they're going to have fighting chances against.
Certainly, and actually just being real here as well. I listened to an interview with Harry, their coach, Wonder Boy, post their qualifying matches and getting first seed, where they reverse swept Quadrant and managed to reset the bracket. I believe that's how it went down.
It did.
Coming into this tournament, he was asked, what are the goals here? What is the aspirations from this first major? And he's like, look, I'm gonna be real for you. Like, I would say to win it, we all want to win it, right? But being realistic, we want to break top 4 if we can. If we can just manage to get in top 4, if we can manage to even just touch that line, that would be incredible for us. That would be where we were like, okay, what we are doing is working. Let's improve on that. Let's continue. And I just really appreciated the realistic approach that the coach had. And if they can do that, if they can do what Quadrant did last year, they're on a really, really good track. My question is, do you think right now with how they're playing that they are on track for their goal?
I don't know if top 4 is a realistic placing, but I understand that when you're the competitor, you have to believe that this is possible. If this team gets top 6, I'll be very proud of them. I'll be very happy for their future. I think a top 8 placing is probably where they will end up. Especially now that they put themselves in a pretty good spot bracket-wise, depending on how it turns out. But top four seems a little far-fetched, knowing how many strong teams we have in this tournament.
I just had an update in my ear, by the way. Map 1, Cloud9 did just take that one off Rebellion, so Rebellion are going to need to bounce back in the Slayer. Hey, if there's a map to do, it's a Slayer, right? Just catch some heat, get some snowballs in, you'll be fine. We'll see what Rebellion can do here. But talking about the big 3, because we saw them yesterday and they were all looking so good. So good. In fact, I'm really excited about the competition today because of how good those guys looked. Clutch, when it comes to the big 3 right now, who are you looking at to really have a good day 2? Who do you need to see a good day 2 from to really convince you that they can take this chip?
I think we've seen the best of FaZe and Optic so far. I'm looking at SSG to wow me. I'm looking at SSG to not just be the Stellar show. Yesterday, Stellar obviously just taking over series, and maybe not the most important series that they're going to have throughout this weekend. I think in the bigger series, you'll see the other 3 step up. My eye is on SSG to see what exactly is this team's ceiling when they're playing their best.
I love that you mentioned that, because I made a kind of an off joke, but it was kind of a real deal. When SSG and Foe went up against each other, I said, if SSG didn't have Stellar, I think Foe win that matchup, because Stellar stepped up so much and was such an outlier, at least in the stats department, in that matchup. I agree. I think Stellar had a stellar performance.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly interject here just to let you know I had an update. Actually, that was incorrect information. Cloud9 lost to Rebellion the first map.
Oh, wow, they came back.
They came back, which now has given me goosebumps and has told me a lot more about Rebellion that I wanted to know heading into this day. Rebellion are looking fantastic. What a way to start. Killed that momentum, dead in its tracks. Very, very impressed. Coming back to what we're seeing now, though, with the big 3, we're looking at FaZe Clan ascending baseline. They were looking phenomenal yesterday. They had some good competition with Quadrant ascending baseline. I think they honestly just got the worst part of FaZe that they possibly could, which is a FaZe that got warmed up, heated up, very excited about their competition, and they were met, unfortunately, with a serious defeat there. For FaZe, they're on track, looking really good for day 2. How are you feeling about this roster?
Yeah, I don't think Renegade had the best series, that first series, and you can best believe Renegade woke up in that second series and really started to take over. So business as usual for these guys. I think they are the most excited team to get into bracket play, because this pool play, especially when you're the #1 seed in the tournament, it can get boring for multi-time world champions like they are. So I'm very excited to see them. I was very impressed by Snakebite and the statistical numbers he was putting up. When he's limiting his deaths and he is still alive on the map, you guarantee he is impacting the outcome of the game. So for him to have far less deaths than everybody on his team yesterday shows me that FaZe are playing good Halo, because when Snakebite's alive, good things are happening for FaZe.
Very, very true. And of course, we need to talk about Optic Gaming and giving them their moment. We saw them on the main stage this morning, finishing off their pool play match. They did a fantastic job there. Tony, with the green wall in the building right now, what are you looking forward to seeing from Optic today?
Same thing we saw yesterday. I've been kind of tough on Optic in the past, and rightfully so. I think I will say I loved what we saw from Renegade and Snakebite yesterday. I thought that was great, but when it comes to the difficulty of schedule, Complexity versus Optic was supposed to be the closest matchup, and when we talk about that first 2 games, that 2-0 start with Optic over Complexity, it honestly didn't even look competitive when we talked about that first 2 games. Obviously, Complexity stepped it up, but I think Optic looked the cleanest and the best to me after day 1 because of how they looked against that Complexity roster, who technically had the higher seed.
I would completely agree with that. Optic having the hardest matchup of any of our big 3 yesterday, and they looked the most dominant in that matchup. Even if they dropped a game, Optic, I feel like we've been sliding them as like a talent crew. This team got second at Worlds. They won multiple events last year. They make the team change. Everyone's wondering how big of a difference is Dead Zone than APG. I think this is the weekend we really, truly learn, and they look scary yesterday. I can't wait to see those guys go at it more.
They look very, very scary. One thing I do want to see them clean up on, though, has to be their strongholds. I think strongholds are going to be big for this tournament, and right now it's looking a little bit like their crux. So, you know, I want to see something from these guys to show us that they've elevated overnight. They've managed to kind of work through a couple of things. Is there anything in specifics you've noticed about Stronghold's clutch that you really want to see Optics start to adopt here?
Yeah, I want to see them play a little bit more together. It seems like they're always spread thin. They're always trying to push their limits a little bit too far, and maybe not even like capitalizing on them enough when they do have those opportunities. I think there's a little bit of a misread in their Strongholds gameplay. You cannot afford to have a weak game type when you're playing against the other big 3. You cannot look at a series and see Strongholds is game 3 or even game 1 to kick off a series and think in your head we're at a disadvantage here, because that is where momentum is built, is in those 2 pivotal games, game 1 and game 3. For Optic to go up against an SSG or a FaZe, they need to be clicking on all cylinders, no weak modes. I think they have what it takes to clean it up. I would be very surprised if their Strongholds is as poorly as it has been continuing on throughout this tournament.
Fully agree with you. Our top 3 actually have the incredible ability to regain on the fly.
It turns out they're good at everything.
They are very good at everything. They can regain no matter what. Literally overnights and ball review done in the bag. Well, folks, what do you guys get, though, for tuning in? What do you get for listening to all of us drone on about how amazing our teams are? Well, you get Twitch drops. That's, of course, right. We've got amazing, amazing Twitch drops for you guys. Make sure you're watching for 3 hours. Get the tabs open. Watch on everything. And so you guys aren't losing out on some of these incredible things.
Watch on everything. Your cell phone, the TV in the kitchen, the TV in the bathroom. Tony, I know you got one of those. Tell your mom to open up Twitch. Tell your girlfriend to open up Twitch. Your little sister. Hey, Halo's going on this weekend. We need these drops.
We do. We do very much need these drops. Where can you guys catch all the action? Well, we have 4 different streams for you, so you won't lose out on watching your favorite teams go head-to-head today. So make sure you're tuning in on either Twitch or YouTube on either 4 of our streams today. Well, we've also got absolutely incredible money on the line as well. We have a stacked prize pool, $250,000 on the line for this first major. First place takes home $100K. That is lined up looking so, so good. I'll tell you what, the money is fantastic for our teams, but right now the pride is very much felt. They want to get this first place. They want to kick off their season strong, and the money ain't bad either, I'll tell you that much. Let's take a look at our bracket, though, because we're getting into the championship bracket.
All right,
Winner side of things. I know. Having a little gander for the first time. Quarterfinals. FaZe and Foe. I like that. NAEU. Optic versus Proton Gaming. Shopify Rebellion versus Complexity. And Space Station Gaming versus Quadrant. Wes, I already see you smiling when I'm mentioning some of the names here. I already can guess what you're going to say, but what are you looking forward to?
Shopify Complexity. We're going to find out who is going to be that next team up, because they get to play each other for a chance to get top 6 right here. Unbelievable bracket for Shopify if I'm concerned. But Complexity looks strong enough to where this could be an upset. I think that these 2 teams are in that same tier, so for them to match up in winners bracket round 1 and really dictate a large portion of what their future holds this weekend in this best of 5, that is such an exciting electric matchup. I hope we put that on main stage.
It's going to be absolutely incredible. Elimination bracket, though, we have got Cloud9, Darkest Hour, Native Gaming, and Law Gaming, who have fallen short, but they're lying on the safety net right now of the HCS, and it's whether or not they can rebound back up and who drops down with them. But all of the teams up there are pretty damn scary.
3 teams come out of our open bracket and advanced to the elimination bracket. That means they were able to best the pool teams. That is how strong the open bracket was this event, and I can't wait to see if there's more noise to be made. My eyes, though, are on Native Gaming. You have a player in APG that is a world champion in this game, second at Worlds last year. This is the following year. APG cannot afford to go out early
Yeah,
this
I know
event.
it's
He is
bad
a
when he
world-class
attacking me
talent.
all
I'm
day.
excited to see if Native Gaming can turn that ship around.
We have a ton of matchups for you guys to look forward to on day 2. Day 2 being one of my favorites of all time because it brings so much action. We've got Complexity. They 3-0'd Law Gaming this morning. Bittersweet. They went down to Law Gaming. We got Optic Gaming. 3-0ing Law Gaming. That's a lot of Law Gaming.
Law Gaming got no, never mind. They won that 3-0 against Bittersweet. I was about to say that was a rough moment.
I don't know how right that is. That's a lot of Law Gaming on there. Okay. And then we also have Space Station versus Optic coming up next.
First
But
L
I'm
of the
very
day
excited
after
about
doing this fight, like,
this
5 or
matchup.
6
We do
times.
have
That's
actually
fucking
correction.
crazy.
It's Space Station versus Quadrant. That's coming up next. Correction. So let's chill for a second. Let's talk about Space Station Gaming
crazy.
first because they are such an amazing team and arguably, I don't know, we'll have to find out by the end of the weekend, but might have honestly just got better with the addition of Legend on their side. Now, Tony, I saw the Unlocked on Bound just before we went live on the desk, and it was great to see that from last year. It was just amazing and obviously an incredible character builder for this young man. We've seen an awful lot of Stella so far this major. He's been making a lot of noise. I'm ready for Bound to start making some noise on that main stage. What does Bound bring to the table for this team?
Entry frag player, the damage dealer like you saw on the Unlocked series. Sometimes you have to go down in order to be effective on the map
That
to
where
put
that
your
girl got
team
that-
in the
those
right
green,
direction. That's what I
booty
expect to
shorts
see out
on
of
that did
Bound,
the
and
game on.
that's what we're going to see.
That's what we're going to see. And then on Quadrant side, they are doing everything that they possibly can to keep themselves alive against Space Station Gaming. What do you need to see?
This one's personal. Legend left you. What do you have in you? Sika and SLG. I'm looking at you to have big series. This should be ugly for the side of Space Station. Quadrant need to make it scrappy, and let's see if Sika and SLG can get their revenge on a player that left him.
Let's get straight to the main stage, folks. This is going to be your first main stage matchup of the championship bracket. It's SSG versus Quadrant. Let's meet your teams.
A little bit of a desire to watch some world-class Halo, and I don't know about everybody else, but that's exactly what we have on our main stage for you right now. Day 2 has already thrown up some surprises, and now we get to see two of the best teams in the world and some ex-teammates go up against each other on our main stage. We've got SSG ready to take on Quadrant.
That's right, make no mistake, this is a grudge match, folks. This is going to be a good one, and to be honest, I feel pretty spoiled that we even get this as a head-to-head matchup on the Saturday. If there's one matchup I want to see, it's these former teammates going up against one another in a big controversial team change in the offseason. Here's a look at the series layout and what the series will hold.
Well, there's the series layout, but we want to quickly, before we get into the game, just give you a little bit of a backstory on what we've been hearing from some of the players and the coaches, even from both sides. I spoke to SLG last night. He sent me a couple of messages. He was like, hey, just to let you know, I believe our ceiling is even higher with this roster, this new Quadrant roster, than what we had last year. Now, you spoke to Elamite, and he was very interested in that comment.
He certainly was. Elamite, I kind of asked him, hey, how's the whole team feeling about this series? And what he said to me is, for 3 of the guys on the stage, this is another run-of-the-mill series. He said, of course, for Legend, though, it's a big one, right? Playing against former teammates that he played with all last year. A big opportunity for him to maybe make a statement against those former teammates. But he said, if they're saying their ceiling's higher, let's see how their ceiling matches our floor, which was quite a statement indeed. We are underway and kicking things off with Legend, the newest member on the Space Station side, and of course, former teammate of everyone on the other side on Quadrant.
Well, it's going to be Strongholds to start things off here. And I think it's only right that we start on this POV, right? Taking down his ex-captain, you would say, in SLG to start things off, and it's the perfect start here from Space Station. They win the opening exchange. Legend has a camo, and if they're not careful here, Quadrant, they're going to be in a triple cap because every single player was taken down.
Like I said, one of my other questions to you tonight was how have you guys thought about this series? How have you prepared? And I think in a very cool, calm, and collected way, and also extremely confident, said we have not specifically prepared for this series. Whereas I feel like you think about the amount of emotion on the Quadrant side of the stage in this series, they're going to be thinking about it quite differently. But first 40 points on the board here as Legend still has camo as he makes his way to yard.
Camo disappears, but still has the positional advantage. Even though Quadrant managed to scrap back into A and convert it, it's just going to be a collapse now. And this is one of the things about this game type, right? It's the most punishing game type that there is in the Halo Championship Series. The triple cap keeps going, and it's a case now for Quadrant of accepting that you're probably going to lose around 100, 150 points even before you're going to have an opportunity to get 4 back on the map and really put some pressure back on. But at the moment, Space Station aren't even letting them live. Glory has yet to get a kill. SLG is yet to get a kill, and they're about to cross the 100-point mark as well.
That's right. That was a 4 dead followed up by a 3 dead. I think Drone managed to get 1 kill out of the end of it. However, it's not going to mean points on the board. A clean kill here in Loop from Legend as well. They do cross the 90-point mark now.
One thing that was interesting that we learned yesterday from watching a bit of Quadrant when they went up against FaZe was that late game was a little bit of a struggle for them. They were very competitive for the majority of the game, for 95%, but it wasn't enough to close out any of those games. They went down 3-0, and with the way that Legend is playing at the moment, he looks like he's having fun on the main stage.
How about that? What a way to open up your series against your former team. A killing spree, unanswered, and 108 points in a row. They let 1 point go on the board, and then they continue scoring yet again. You got to also give a shout out to Legend there for that play on the light rifle. You could just tell that because his team had so much advantage in positioning, he's able to just kind of wait and bait and take out Sniper really easily.
Zeke gets taken down, Eco with that kill, but more importantly here, the camo is up. Now, where has that gone? Mid-map control was Quadrants for quite some time there, so no surprise to see that Glory has managed to get that first power up. Now there's an opportunity for this game to turn in the favor of Quadrant. They've had to kind of soak up the pressure in the early points, but now you can see they have a triple cap of their own, and that's how this game type works, Andy. It's kind of one team has dominant control. It's about how long it takes you to break.
It really is. Look at that timing from Glory. Really good patience there. Even though he had camo, he waited for the perfect second from when Eco goes from truck up to snipe and then hits another perfect as well. And just like that, off the back of these plays, off the back of those kills, they've halved their opponent's lead. Now it's 115 to 52.
SSG 3 dead as well. Eco last alive, and you can see the snipe drone. He sniffed him out here, but it's going to be a kill and not a trade that goes to Eco. So as last alive, he gets his teammates back on the map. Vital in this position.
Really big here. He's not going to be able to do too much here. They're going to slowly get A, and only because Eco wins that do they even get A, and they're going to also have immediate pressure on B as well. So they do stop the bleeding. B reset comes in. However, as we said, it's a lot of points on the board for Quadrant. Not only showing signs of life, but showing continued scoring, and they are right back in this match.
Well, here's Seeker. One man who still part of the roster that did so much on this very stage last year, and he's looking to push for a triple cap once more. Eco in the 1v1. Great early shots, but look at the peek from Eco. Teaches Seeker a lesson.
We talked about it yesterday, the peeking, the jiggle peeking, and really playing your corners there. It's really big in Bandit gameplay, and as you say, Eco showing off that he's put the time in with this weapon.
Legend gets one. The battle for bottom middle continues here as it looks like Quadrant have turned their attention towards A. And I tell you what, they can turn their attention wherever they like because the triple cap stays locked in here for Quadrant. SSG were 3 dead. Camo coming up as well. And I tell you what a comeback this is from Quadrant. They turn the score over. They are in the lead now, and they look like they might have a camo too.
Wow, what an opening to this game. You couldn't ask for more. It was 108, 4 dead for SSG as Sika gets the camo as well. It's perfectly timed and perfect patience from Quadrant as well. You could not ask for a better opening in game number 1 of this series. It was 108 to 1 point, and now just like that, Quadrant already leading by 40.
And the scary thing here for SSG is a squad spawn in blue. That means they're going to be vulnerable to grenades. All the chokes they have to walk through, they're going to take damage, and it's just about cleaning that damage up, and it's exactly what Seeker is doing. A double kill for him, more deaths for SSG, and this triple cap is stifling them.
That's what I was worried about. The exact timing of that camo grab led to so many points on the board. The 4 dead hit at the exact same time as the camo grab, and Sika uses that elevation, uses those sightlines to perfectly pick apart the SSG roster. They have crossed the 210-point mark.
Now, this is the interesting part of the game, though. A couple of kills went over to SSG, and they've managed to get control of one of the strongholds. Now you're going to see the battle bottom middle. Snipe Drone gets a kill onto Bound, stays alive as well. Seeker gets another, and it's going to be all up to Legend against his old team to keep his team in the game. Can he get the stick? The answer is yes, but the reset does come in bottom middle.
SSG should be able to beat the spawns on the timing here just by a split second or so to finish B.
Scoring back in the hands of SSG, but damage being taken by Bound. Staying alive is so important, and he cannot do it here. SLG and Snipe Drone combine. All the kills going over to the Quadrant side of the stage right now, and they flip B back. Quadrant now in the home stretch.
It was a big play from Legend, but wasn't enough. Look at the board. Somehow a 100-point difference here. Let's see what happens at C as well. 230 on the board, 20 points to go for Quadrant. What a run they have made here in game number 1. It's a triple cap at the 240 mark.
It's going to be desperation here from SSG. They have to cap something, and they have to cap it now. Legend in the 1v1, and Snipe Drone will take him down. A huge kill. They give up C, but the battle is going to be for bottom middle. Bound gets one. Snipe Drone will stay alive, though. Stella, last alive here for Space Station Gaming. It's all up to Legend now, as Stella will fall. Glory steps back into B, and surely this is the final moment.
Should be able to. Let's see what happens in A now. All focus on A as he's going to have to rotate back.
Split spawns, though. It's going to be 3 players now from Space Station spawning at C, and that might be a blessing in disguise. And Quadrant cannot convert in these final moments. Is it going to be the same story as yesterday, as Eco gets the camo?
SLG last player alive, Eco with the camo. All 4 players up on Quadrant, though. Let's see how this plays out. 246 mark, no room for error whatsoever.
Eco gets spotted out with the camo. But he's still going to find one, and he takes the shields down to Seeker. He's trying to wait and bait for this bottom middle, and they will keep control here, SSG, of B and C.
This would be unbelievable. What a run they have to take here. It's going to require a lot more slays to bring this game back, but they've already got 2 dead. They maintain the staggered spawns as well. They trail by just under 100.
Important thing here for Quadrant, even though they are leaking points right now, the camo didn't turn it into a triple cap. If that happens,
big from Glory,
then maybe SSG are right back into this, but kills like that from Glory and openings created like that could give Quadrant the chance to move up the map and turn over one of these strongholds.
Glory was last player alive. He does not have the opportunity to push. He was in a momentary 1v2 and finally gets taken down. Now still staggered spawns. It was 3 dead for Quadrant yet again. They're coming off the spawn here. Space Station has to do this about 2 more times if they want to win this game.
Have they learned from yesterday? Quadrant so close in so many of these games, but it was these final moments. They are agonizingly close here. 4 points is all they need. But that 4 points might as well be 250.
Oh, no.
As Stella is starting to take over this game.
Huge from Stella. He doesn't take any damage. No trade, no damage at all. Stella with the triple kill at an unbelievable time. Seeka's the only player alive. It's cafe spawns. It's camo for Stellar. Are they about to do the impossible?
Stella just changed the game. Now moving in on A, it's going to be an easy reset. The kills are just starting to stack up in the favor of SSG. It's 4 dead for Quadrant. And SSG are back in with a triple cap.
Last push here for Quadrant. Off the rip. Cafe spawns. All 4 players up. The final battle.
He's just standing here with camo. He's just waiting for an opening. Waiting for a pick. There's 2 players in front of him. He gets 1. He can't get 2. But Quadrant, they lose 2 members. And SSG will come back to win game number 1.
Oh my word. What a way to start this series in one of the most back and forth strongholds and undoubtedly the biggest comeback of this event so far, trailing I believe by 150 points or so. Quadrant at the doorstep with 230 for quite some time. And SSG forces about 6 perfect spawn rotations and 3 and 4 deads to win that game 250 to 246. Unbelievable. Jaws dropping in the room. I'm sure jaws dropping in chat as well. And my God, what a game number 1. Space Station somehow does the impossible with unbelievable map control.
I said we were going to see some world-class Halo. Well, game number 1 certainly provides that. And that game type in itself, that's the picture of the game type, right? You're never out here.
Yep.
You can just get that 1-4 dead, 1-3 dead, all those blue spawns. You can rotate those spawns, and you can put so many points on the board without response. You felt after the start of that game that SSG might run away with things, but Quadrant managed to keep that triple cap for so long, but so long wasn't long enough. A few moments away from being able to close that game out. But SSG just played to the last second, and one moment that stands out is Stella getting those vital kills on the respawn around that C stronghold. That triple kill that turns into a camo, that turns into a game win. SSG looked dangerous.
It really wasn't. I'm so glad you brought up that Stellar play at the end of the game because Stellar was at loop. and you saw he had to push up to posters and isolate a 1v1. That was the first battle that he got in. During that battle, he hits a perfectly timed repulse to not take any damage. And I think a lot of people watching at home, right here, look at this. No damage at all. That's the first dead. That's the first pick. And guess what? Stellar helps it see. He's gonna now collapse on truck as well. Last player, CK in Cafe. It was over. I think everyone watching at that exact moment, when you saw Stellar not even take a hint of damage because of the perfectly timed repulse, not only does it get them the first pick, but then he can run with that. The
so
second
they
that
started
happened,
already?
it was like, okay, this one's probably over. Quadrant is gonna be in a lot of trouble here. And it's plays like that that make the difference, because I think everyone's thinking, who gets the first pick there? It really came down to that final moment.
I mean, this is the comeback in itself. This is just a still from that game. This is where Quadrant go 4 dead. They are 217 points to 115. Over 100 points ahead at this part of the game.
Some
but
sorry
like I said,
matches,
this is a
he
game
says.
type and game mode
Hear
combination
this Call
where
of Duty
100 points,
community?
it's
Said
kind
y'all
of, if you're playing
sorry.
good Halo, it's what you expect to get if you get a 4 dead.
Really, it truly is. And it's what a back and forth gameplay. What a beautiful display of the highest level of competitive Halo, that these two teams are just really pushing each other against the ropes time and time again, back and forth. But when it mattered most, it's Space Station closing out the game, as you say, a 100-point deficit to win 250 to 246 in what felt like at least 5 or 6 perfect 3 or 4 deads in a row to close out that game. And you have to be a little bit worried for Quadrant, because that's a really familiar tale from their Optic series, from their Phase series yesterday, where they were just on the cusp of victories. I talked to Sniper this morning, and I said, hey, your POV looked good in that series. What were your thoughts? He's like, man, a few moments difference, and that could have been a 3-0, of course, our way, if they were able to close out from the mid-game. They weren't yesterday. They get shut down by a huge comeback from SSG in game number 1 here. Let's see how they can respond.
Well, I feel after that game number 1, everyone who's here in Arlington just sat up a little bit straighter, because everyone now is locked in for this series. Game number 2 is live. We're on live fire. It's going to be Slayer. First to 50, we'll take the game.
I think we knew this series was going to deliver, but I don't know if any of us were ready for a game number 1 like that in what is already going to be one of the most memorable strongholds, I dare say, in Halo Infinite history. From that game number 1, a beautiful display, as we
got
said.
a triple off the rip. Flies over the top of Sandbags, takes 3 members of his ex-teammates down, and gives them that 3-1 lead. Something to keep an eye on, as he has the QT, is the 1v1 with SLG, which he wins, not for the first time in this series.
Love the confidence, too. A lot of players that in a high-stakes situation might hit the QT early just like that.
Oh my God.
Oh, man. Talk about being 2 places at once, getting the job done. More kills on the board. They lead 6-2.
6-2. More importantly, he just took down Glory, who had that sniper rifle. And Legend is just standing there at the moment and almost beckoning the Quadrant players on, saying, how dare you challenge me? How dare you think you're going to outshoot me?
More kills coming in. See if Bound can stay alive here. That'd be special as well. 9-4, making 9-5. Big quote from Bound yesterday, from Stellar yesterday. We got to talk to him. He said, we wanted to make a change in the offseason, and Legend was the only player we were willing to make a change for. Think about that for a second. Only player in the entirety of professional Halo that they were willing to make a change for. They pick him up, and so far, it's a good start. However, Quadrant answers back in a big way. They're only down by 2.
Yeah, really electric start from Legend, of course, but bigger picture here, it's just a 2-kill lead here for Space Station Gaming, and I think it gives us a second as the game just slows down for a second to talk about maybe what that change was made, right? Legend adds so much to Space Station Gaming in this particular game type. Slayer is where they fell short a few times this last season in some of those close encounters they had with the likes of Optic, the likes of FaZe. Well, he's already showing at the start of this game what he brings to the table.
I mean, yeah, look at the numbers. 8-2 from Legend. He's 1 kill shy of the entirety of Quadrant's kills at this point in the Slayer.
Movement now from both teams is around that camo. Great shots coming in from Snipe Drone, by the way. A little bit of help came in from Seeker. Bound does clean up 1, but he'll be immediately traded out. 2 kills still the difference between the 2 teams, but control of the camo side of the map is firmly in the hands of Quadrant. You would expect them to be in a position here to pick up that camo.
And as we learned from the game number 1, it's far from over. Of course, QT gonna grab. In the end, will grab the kill, does Legend. Second one in a row. That was 3 dead for Quadrant. He's finding mud spawners here. Maybe they'll clean this last kill out. Eco also pushing. Very nicely done. They clean out the mud spawn, which will force now scoreboard spawns.
I mean, keeping track of Legend's tough. He's got a QT. It becomes nigh on impossible.
Yeah.
Snipe Drone going to challenge, though. Snipe Drone doing a great job. Ooh, it got a little bit wavy there. A little bit windier than we expected. But most importantly, the headshot, the counter connected on the side of Legend in that fight. Now we're seeing the game just slow down for a second, and Glory's going to fall into that trap.
Telling you, Stellar with his repulse, man, he knows how to use it in those 1v1s, does so well to win that one as well. Eventually be traded out, but just like that, now a 3-kill lead. SLG trying to make the push here on tower.
sniper rifle in the hands of Eco, I believe it was. He just hit that body shot. Made that push from SLG. Not quite as comfortable as he thought it was going to be. Stella moving in to clean up yet more damage. 2v2 on the map right now as Eco will get back onto live fire off his respawn, and this is the worrying moment. This is what Foe were worried about yesterday. They said we played a pretty good series. On live fire, we felt pretty good. The only problem was when you get Stella with a sniper in his hands, it feels like two players because he just bodies everything.
He really does here. Also, great play by Legend there. That was off screen. However, Legend had to win the 1v1 against Snipe Drone back at tower to even create this space for Stellar. So really nice 1v1. Those are the types of things that won't show up on the scoreboard. They won't show up immediately upon looking at the game. However, it's plays like that that keep Space Station in the lead here by 6.
Bound gets 2. Glory will take the snipe out of the hands of Stellar, and you have to say, that could be something that's looked back on as one of the big moments of this game, because it means that he didn't really get to do too much damage with it. 5 and 6 at the moment is Stellar, and Glory has the chance now to show what he's made of with the big stick.
Very, very quick kill off the first one. Brings now the game within 4 kills. As you said, you heard from the Quadrant side, they feel like their ceiling is even higher than historic top 3 placings last season. They've got their eyes on making an even bigger statement here in 2024. Glory's going to be a big part of that if they have any say about it.
Stella gets the first pick. Now it's going to be up to Glory to do something special because the pressure is coming in. Can't connect this time. That's Quadrant full 3 dead. A couple of kills were exchanged, but the numbers fall in the favor of SSG once more. And now that we're in and around that 30 kill mark, those differences in 1 or 2 trades start to stack up.
I'm just playing this slow, gonna wait for his teammates to respawn. As they're of course gonna play up on this camo now. Really all eyes on that camo as it's only a 5-kill game here with 7 left.
We're trying to push up to Nest, takes a little bit of damage and gives away a kill. It's gonna be the most comfortable double kill you'll ever wish for if you're Bound. 2 players just walk into his reticle. It might even be 3. He turns around the corner and it is 3. Seeker subs up the triple and Bound was feeling hungry.
Really perfect timing there. That should be a camo grab off screen. Yes, it is. Stellar's gonna grab that. And now the game has completely gotten out of hand off the back of that. We just said it was a 5-kill game. And just like that, now a 10-kill game off of the triple and the camo grab. And you can tell Stellar's feeling himself. He's gonna go ahead and push into green. Even though it's a camo traded out, they know they can get that last player off of that damage. And when you've got an 11-kill lead, you can make plays like that.
10 kills to go then for SSG to close out game number 2. Quadrant are going to have to find multiple back-to-back team wipes if they want to try and get back in this game, which is a lot easier said than done when you're playing against a team like this. Snipe Drone with the first pick, though, might give them somewhat of an advantage. But Legend, he's hunting for a Seeker. He's going to find a Snipe Drone first.
Man, just the shots are hitting so hard. The damage coming out of Legend. He manages to stay alive for so long and wins the 1v1 against Seeker in the window as well. That is what Bandit gameplay offers, especially when in the hands of a player like Legend. They still lead by 10.
Do not adjust your streams, everybody. Legend is 17 and 10 in this game. Stella picks up another one. QT's to the back of green as he's looking to stay alive as SSG are on the road home.
Wow, what a statement from him, right? All eyes, of course, we've said it, are on Legend. 18 and 11 in this game. Stellar finally taken down, but this will be likely the home stretch here for SSG. Not over just yet, but you have to feel like a few more kills come in. That could be the game, but Quadrant not going down without a fight.
SSG just have to be careful that they don't try and think about finishing this too quickly.
Yeah.
Because Seeker has a sniper and Glory's got a pretty good shot himself. That's a big kill and that could flip momentum here. Back over to Quadrant. SLG with another one. Hold your breath here, folks.
Exactly, slow it down. In a game where Legend is 18 and 12, this game is somehow only separated by 5. 44 to 39 here, and these next few picks are absolutely huge, and you can feel it on the main stage with how the game has slowed down.
5-kill game.
5 minutes remaining.
Seeker needs to connect though, and Bound is going to make a play elsewhere. Takes down Glory. Connection not going to be there, and now the pressure's going to come in. They know he's weak. They flood in. Stella, Legend, get another. It's 19. Make it 20 for Legend against his old squad.
Oh, no!
And the triple kill to finish it. Legend is him.
Icing on the cake, salt in the wound, however you want to call it. What a way to do it from Legend. A Saturday main stage debut with his new team, and he pops off 21 and 13 with a triple kill to finish the game. As we said, the most historic international pickup in Halo history, and he's proving why he's found himself on this SSG team.
You might say cherry on the cake. He would say butter on the croissant. Is probably how he's feeling right now. What a talent. What a special player. And most excitingly, I think, for everybody, he's just getting started. 50-41 is your final score in game number 2 as SSG will be up in the series by 2.
What an unbelievable finish to that game. I think we were all thinking it when you called out that Legend had just hit the 20 kill mark. Look at this QT work by him, by the way. Also, the confidence to only hit the QT after he's won the 1v1s. A lot of players would play it safe in those situations, get the damage and QT back. Instead, he's not just playing high risk, high reward. He's simply taking those risks and winning those 1v1s, then QTing out. Really good start for them, of course. And you got to say, I think we were all feeling it. You're hoping when Legend hits the 20 kill mark that he's going to grab that snipe top mid. We all saw Snipe Drone's name in the back of house. And guess what? He flies in and hits the quickscope for the triple and the game winner. Multiple statements being made. Look at the damage. Once again, here he wins this 1v1 in window as well. Just beautiful plays coming out of Legend throughout the game.
I mean, have you ever seen a more poetic end to a game than this? Oh, for the 21, and he pops off on the main stage as well. Legend is feeling it. And why wouldn't you after a performance like that? SSG now 1 game away. Quadrant are reeling.
Absolutely. I mean, once again, these games were so close, right? Quadrant manages to bring that game once again back within 5 kills in the late game despite being down by 11 earlier. So Quadrant showing that they have what it takes to always go toe-to-toe with these top teams. However, it has been the case time and time again. This is the 2nd day in a row of them failing to close out the games. But not easy to do when that man on your screen is dropping 21 kills. Now, let's make no mistake, this is fairly basic math, but nearly half of his team's kills recorded in that game.
Yeah, I'm glad you did it, because even the most basic math, we know how that goes for me. But, I mean, what a way to close things out. Look at the reaction as well from Legend. He knows what this series means to him, right? Even though he's still good friends with everybody on Quadrant, he wants to go and push himself to the next level. He wants to win titles. He wants to win championships. And the man on your screen is probably one of the greatest mentors you could possibly ask for in Halo to go and do that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like you and I talked about before we got to this event. Just thinking about this roster on paper, those 4 gentlemen on your screen, of course, alongside Coach Elamite, it is a terrifying amount of individual talent on paper. However, one of the special things about SSG also is that they are much more than the sum of their parts, right? When you take these 4 together, just absolutely dominating in what they can do in game. We've just seen it now, 2 games in a row. They can absolutely take over games that they really should not be winning. Take a look at some stats here from Stellar and Legend.
I mean, those stats just indicate worrying times ahead for Quadrant, because we are going over to King of the Hill as our next game type, and I mean, take your pick. Honestly, take your pick of one of those statistics to be impressed by, because whatever you pick, you're going to be correct.
Yeah, come on, Stellar dropping over 2.0 KD in a King of the Hill match. There's not going to be much time to move around a map.
Well, the funniest thing about that is Stellar's dropping a 2.0 KD, but Legend's out damaging him, which is just, I mean, it's...
I think that... How much Legend POV we got to watch that game is a great example, and I love this stat card because you saw what Legend does. For example, with the QT, it's even more punishing. However, look at the amount of time that Legend was fighting from window or scoreboard up against key door players and just pop. It feels like with the Bandit, he's just getting 2 to 3 extra shots in every battle where a lot of players wouldn't have the time. They wouldn't find those angles, but you can already tell that SSG is just working as a unit and just moving around each other so well. That's what leads to these huge outlier damage stats. For example, 12,000 damage per game coming in from Legend. We saw 600 damage per minute from Stellar on the leaderboards yesterday from Buff Stats. Just unbelievable stuff.
I think one thing that Legend is already starting to command here as well, and we don't want to get too far ahead of us, but it feels like there's some sort of aura around him when you see him in those 1v1 battles, right? You see people going into it, and if you see a Legend above that player's name, you know you have to be perfect in that fight, or you have to back down and show respect, because you've seen what happens in the 1v1s. If he gets first shot, it's very rare that he isn't going to win that battle. You think about players like Renegade, you know, Royal 2. You think about players like Trippy Lucid Formal is another great example of it. When you see them, you cannot afford to think, maybe I don't have first shot here, but I can challenge it because I know I'm going to hit mine. You can't afford to do it because you're going to get a death away. And it's as simple as that.
Also getting tournament updates from across the venue as well. Shopify taking down Cloud9 3-0 in their series. We'll keep a close eye on what they're up to, as we know they're a big threat, of course, to the top 6 and beyond. But here on the main stage, you're seeing Sika on screen, and a lot to think about for these players here on Quadrant throughout these series. If you look really at their games, I think they're going to have already a lot of tape to look at.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? We're sitting here waxing lyrical about Legend and how well he's playing, and the fact that the series is 2-0 as we bring up a little bit of C9 versus Rebellion for you to enjoy in the meantime. But just to continue the conversation, that first game could easily have been Quadrants. Easily have been Quadrants. Arguably arguably should have been Quadrant.
I don't even think arguably. Should have been Quadrant, and they threw the game away. It's a 100-point lead. Also to not, I mean, they needed one single push. You could actually argue they only needed 2 dead to close out the game at the 246 mark. They were unable to do so, and I think there's good news, though, on the side of this for Quadrant, because I think if you're a Quadrant fan and you look at all their games versus FaZe and all of their games up against their opponent here on the main stage, I think there's a lot to look at in terms of what they have been able to do right up against SSG and also against FaZe. There's truly just a few set of plays if they go differently. Their bracket and their pool, etc., could be so different. So I think a lot to still look forward to and still games to play in this series as well.
Yeah, I mean, SLG is saying it might take us a little bit of time. We might need a few events, a little bit of experience to hit what he believes is going to be that new higher skill ceiling and performance ceiling. But we are also seeing quite clearly in front of our eyes here where those kind of lapses are. And they're being taken apart in those late games, in those moments that really matter.
And I think we can take a look at these first 2 games. And as we said, Quadrant leading 246 at that point, also having a 100-point lead, and in this game also keeping things close at the 40 kill mark or so. This series is not over, and I think Quadrant needs to make sure they are focusing up, realizing, okay, we've played very well in these 2 games, we've thrown the first one away. Everything to play for, the reverse sweep is on the cards. If you look at how these teams have played against each other, just think about the triple cap the Quadrant was able to hold against SSG. Yes, it's very game type specific, however, a lot to play in this series, and you have to hope, if you're a Quadrant fan, that they're still believing that they can reverse sweep here.
I will say, I think when you're looking at game types, you're looking across maybe potential weaknesses here for SSG. The static game types are the ones where historically they haven't been as effective